trying to walk and get up in the middle of the Upanyasam, and please do not disturb. If you must leave, try to be near the doors so that you can, in case of emergency, you can leave right away. We have, and this is a free event. However, for planning purposes, we are using an app so that we have a certain number of seats so that we can assure seating. Others are on wait list, so do not be alarmed because there are people who do not show up. It happens for various reasons. So in case those who are on the outside, they should be able to get in after we have assured seating for those who have reserved ahead of time. If you have kids, young children, please mind them, make sure they do not make any noise, and again, we request that you be seated besides the door so that you can leave right away. Again, I welcome our esteemed speaker. Before that, I would welcome our President, Sri Vasumarla, to provide a quick welcome address.
Thank you. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. My Anantakoti Namaskaram at the lotus feet of all the Pratishtata Devatas and Ubhaya Jagat Gurus. Good evening all. On behalf of SVBF North, I welcome all of you to this wonderful 4-day Bhaktāmṛtam. Most of you know about SVBF, but for few who may not know, SVBF stands for Sringeri Vidya Bharati Foundation. It's established as an international extension of the ancient Dakshinamnaya Sri Sharadamba Temple, Sringeri. Its name combines names of Swami Bharati Tirtha and his Guru Swami Abhinav Vidya Tirtha. My namaskarams to Dharmatma Dr. Yajna Subramanian, our chairman, we call him dearly Manimama. So we are all blessed with divine institutions of SVBF in our adopted country due to the vision and determination of Dharmatma to have 4 mutts in the USA, like the 4 Amnaya Peethams in India, with the blessings of Jagat Gurus and Amba's grace. We have SVBF East in Stroudsburg, SVBF North, we are right now here, SVBF South in Houston, the 4th one, SVBF West in San Diego, that's coming up. Volunteers and financial support are the lifeblood of our mutts. Our dedicated volunteers form a special bond with the mutt and Sharadamba, selflessly sacrificing their personal time for various activities like cleaning, flowers, religious services, and kitchen duties. Similarly, our devotees generously support the mutts by sponsoring events and special projects. As we prepare for the Mahakumbhabhishekam of SVBF West in San Diego, we humbly request your support in our fundraising efforts. Your contribution will help us make this sacred event a success. Thank you all. Now, I would like to take a moment to warmly welcome the esteemed Sri Dushyant Sridhar, a distinguished individual who, as you are all aware, needs no introduction. However, it will be an oversight on our part if we miss this opportunity to formally introduce him, as we will need at least a 2-hour session just to properly introduce him. We'll spread this over 4 days as we all can wait to hear his pravachanam today. It's an honor to introduce Sri Dushyant Sridhar, a renowned Upanyaskar, writer, actor, director, and a producer. This Pravachana Vachaspati delivered over 3,500 discourses across 26 countries. His discourses on topics related to Sanatana Dharma enjoy a wide spectrum of audience on several television and digital channels. His views on issues related to Sanatana Dharma are eagerly awaited in leading news channels. He is a modern-day messenger of peace and love, whose followers not only run into millions, but are increasing with time. His talks have garnered over 121 million views on YouTube. Upanyasams are no longer the forte of the old, as Dushyantji connects to the young. He's a phenomenon, no doubt, and has broken several stereotypes when it comes to Harikatha. He can blow your mind with his flawless English, popular lingo, catchphrases, and is arguably the wittiest of storytellers. Without further ado, I request Sri Dushyant Garu to start today's pravachana.
Please refrain from taking any pictures or videos at this time. Thank you.
श्रीवाग्भवकूटजात चतुर्वेदस्वरूपिणीं शृङ्गारकामराजोद्भव सकल विश्वव्यापिनीं देवीं this has to come very close to me.
Closer to you.
देवीं शक्तिबीजोद्भव मातृकान शरीरिणीं देवनुत भवरोगहर वैद्यपति हृदय विहारिणीं भावरागतालमोदिनीं भक्ताभीष्टप्रदायिनीं सेवकजनपालन गुरुरूप सेवक जन पालन गुरु रूप मुदु कुमार जननी भजरे. So the monitor is right. Increase the volume.
House volume?
Yeah. सेवक जन पालन गुरु रूप मुदु कुमार जननी भजरे. Should we reduce one mic and do it only one single mic?
Try one mic should be better. Try that one mic on left. Yeah, left.
Left is better, is it?
Right is better.
Right is better.
It's off anyway. Off.
Sure.
Take it away.
सेवक जन पालन गुरु रूप मुदु कुमार जननी भजरे रे चित्त बलाम्बिका भक्त कल्पलतिका श्रियं रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्धना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् उल्लासपल्लवितपालितसप्तलोकी निर्वाहकोरकितनेम कटाक्षलीलां श्रीरङ्गहर्म्यतडमङ्गलदीपरेखां श्रीरङ्गराजमहिषीं श्रियम् आश्रयामः आकारत्रयसम्पन्नाम् अरविन्दनिवासिनीम् अशेषजगदीशीत्रीं वन्दे वरदवल्लभाम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् नमः सदसे नमः सभाये. With the abundant blessings of Paramatma Shri of Pati, we have gathered in the very sacrosanct premises of SVBF, which has been adorned with the grace of the Ubhaya Gurus of Sri Sringeri Matham, both Sri Mahasannidhanam and Sannidhanam. I have had the unique pleasure of having delivered discourses in the SVBF Center, San Diego on March 3rd, 4th and 5th this year. The very same year I am speaking here for 4 days, beginning today. And incidentally, Friday I am speaking for SVBF in Houston. So, of course it is because of the grace of Bhagavan, Paramatma and the Acharyas. The 4 days that we will be enjoying Sanatana Dharma and its content will be based on 4 topics. Day 1, today, it will be on Adi Shankara's composition called as Kanakadhārā Stuti or Stotram. Tomorrow, day 2, will be Moha Mudgaram, which is popularly known as Bhaja Govindam. Day 3, which is the day of Buddha, will be on a cherished character, a Kathapatram of Sri Mahabharatam, whose Sharanagati and Bhakti is well known as Yajñaseni or Krishna or Draupadi. Day 4, which will be on the day of Guruvara, will be on some of the lessons that we can learn from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So these are the 4 topics decided by the Astikas of this foundation. And all the 4 lectures will be delivered by me in Indian accent English. And all the 4 days happen to be weekdays. And I was told that since it is a dharmic event, they have made it free. Of course, your physical, financial contribution for all the dharmic activities that SVBF does will be highly appreciated. Since these are weekdays, despite being weekdays, I was told that the registration was very encouraging. A couple of them had messaged me stating that, oh, we have been put on wait list. Don't worry, it's not like IRCTC. You have place on either sides. Barring a few feet left to right and front to back, sparing it for me and my torso to rest itself. Everything else is vacant for the bhaktas to sit. So probably they're waiting for the feedback of the lecture on day 1 to attend on day 2. It does happen for movies. So now that this is extended to discourses as well, please tell them he's after all not that bad. So in Shastram, we have recognized Jagannatha as Shri. Kantaste Purushottamaha Phanipatihi Shayyasanam Vahanam Vedatma Vihageshwaraha Yavanika Maya Jaganmohini Brahma Ishadi Surabrajaha Sadaitaha Tvat Dasadasi Ganaha Shrihi Ityeva Chanamate Bhagavati Bhrumakkatam Stvam Vayam, says an Acharya of the 9th, 10th century called Yamuna Acharya. His composition is a compendium of 4 verses referred to as Chatushloki. In that he says, Shrihi Ityeva Chanamate Bhagavati. Shrihi, the one who is denoted by the Ekaksharam Shri. See, Shri is both a letter as well as a word. If you have noticed, let's take English as a language. When we learn the letters of the English alphabet, the first letter is A. But the pronunciation of A or A changes based on the word that follows it, says chapter 2 of Renan Martin. So in articles, when we divide them into indefinite and definite, the pronunciation changes. So the aksharam is A. But when you use that deploy, I think the monitor, if you would just, it says a first day, so, yeah, let's see now. Yeah, Shrihi, so this Ekaksharam A, when deployed in a sentence, is counted as a word by Word, Microsoft Word. When you say this is a book, it will count A as a word. So an akshara can also become a shabdam. Same is the case with Shri. We may assume Shri is an aksharam, but Shri is a name in itself. For instance, you want to name your granddaughter with a name that is easily pronounceable by all nationalities, and you don't want to complicate somebody else's addressing process. You can call her Shri because some people think Shri has to be followed by another word. No, Shri in itself is a word. Shri Rityevacha Namate Bhagavati Bhrumakkatam Stvam Vayam, asks the Acharya. Incidentally, Shri also denotes Vedam. Sahi Shrir Amrita Satam, we say in Vedam. Shri means Vedam. So Vedas are referred to as Shri. Shri also denotes Mahalakshmi because Mahalakshmi is a personification of Vedic quintessence. The Khila Bhagam of Rigveda, the appendix portion to Rigveda, is what is called as Shri Suktam. Su Uktam. Uktam means to say. Su Uktam, very good saying, is called Suktam. Since it refers to Shri Mahalakshmi, it is called Shri Suktam. When Shri Mahalakshmi is that important, we have had a laundry list of compositions that have celebrated the greatness, the Vaibhavam, the Mahatmyam of Mahalakshmi. In the Vedas, we have the appendix portion to the Rig Veda, which is a Khila Bhagam called Shri Suktam. Followed by that, we have 2 versions of Lakshmi Sahasranamam. One comes in Skanda Puranam. Nam Nam Sashta Sahasram Cha Bruhi Gargya Mahamate Mahalakshmiya Mahadevya Bhukti Muktyartha Siddhaye. This is how it begins. This is found in Skandam. So one version of Lakshmi Sahasranamam is found in Skandam. These 4 days, I'm sure there will be a portion of the content that I deliver that you already know. 1 or 2 things you may have not heard or you may not remember of having heard. So the easiest way is to take notes, either with a pen that is capable of writing and with a hand that is accustomed to writing and with a paper that has the space. Second option is, if we are extremely tech savvy, there is an Apple generation, the 2nd generation pen. There is a stylus which can help you assist the process. If option 1 and 2 don't work, the third option is, if you have a mobile in working condition, please feel free to audio record the lecture. I have no problem. You can share it with your relatives. Sanatana Dharma is all about prachara. There is no copyright. What I am stating is Adi Śaṅkarācārya, if copyright holder is him, not me. So feel free to audio record and share it with your relatives if you find this is worthy of sharing. Now, Lakshmi Sahasranamam are twofold. One is found in Skanda Puranam. The second is a traditional Lakshmi Sahasranamam recited in temples for whom we do not know who the author is. Shri Vasudeva Mahishi Pumpradhaneshwareshwari Achityananta Vibhava Bhava Bhava Vibhavini. So this is a Lakshmi Sahasranamam who we do not know who the author is. So in the Vedas we have Shri Suktam that exclusively talks about Mahalakshmi. Second is Lakshmi Sahasranamam, one is traditional, the other one in Skanda. We have a Lakshmi Stuti called Shri Stuti found in the Vishnu Purana, recited by Indra. Namasye Sarva Lokanam Jananim Abjasambhavam Shriyam Unnidra Padmakshim Vishnu Vakshasthalassthitam. This is a stotra on Mahalakshmi called Shri Stuti found in the Vishnu Purana of Parashara Maharshi. Then there is another traditional stotra extremely popular called Lakshmi Ashtottaram. Prakritim Vikritim Vidyam Sarvabhuta Hita Pradam Shraddham Vibhutim Surabhim Namami Paramatmikam Vacham Padmalayam Padmam Shuchim Swaham Swadham Sudham Dhanyam Hiranmayim Lakshmi Nitya Pushtam Vibhavarim Aditim Cha Ditim Deeptam Vasudham Vasudharinim Namami Kamalam Kantam Kshamam Kshiroda Sambhavam Anugraha Param Buddhim Anadham Harivallabham Ashokam Amritam Deeptam Loka Shoka Vinashinim Namami Dharma Nilayam Karunam Lokamataram Padma Priyam Padmahastam Padmakshim Padmasundarim Padmodbhavam Padmamukhim Padmanabha Priyam Ramam Padmamaladharam Devim Padminim Padmagandhinim Punyagandham Suprasannam Prasadabhimukhim Prabham Namami Chandravadanam Chandram Chandrasahodarim Chaturbhujam Chandrarupam Indiram Indushitalam Ahlaja Jananim Pushtim Shivam Shivakarim Satim Vimalam Vishvajananim Pushtim Daridranashinim Pritif Pushkarinim Shantam Shuklamalyam Baram Shriyam Bhaskarim Bilva Nilayam Vararoham Yashasvinim Vasundaram Udarangam Harinim Hemamalinim Dhanadhanyakarim Siddhim Strainya Saumyam Shubhapradam Nripaveshmagatanandam Varalakshmim Vasupradam Shubham Hiranya Prakaram Samudratanayam Jayam Namami Mangalam Devim Vishnu Vakshasthalassthitam Vishnu Patnim Prasannakshim Narayana Samashritam Daridradvamsinim Devim Sarvo Padravavarinim Navadurga Mahakalim Brahma Vishnu Shivatmikam Trikalajnana Sampannam Namami Bhuvaneshwari. Bhuvaneshwari is the 108th Nama. So when you convert this Ashtottaram into a Namavali, you add Namaha. Prakrityai Namaha, Vikrityai Namaha, Vidyayai Namaha, Sarvabhutahita Pradayai Namaha, Shraddhayai Namaha, Vache Namaha, Adityai Namaha, Dityai Namaha, Diptyayai Namaha, Vasudharinyai Namaha. So this becomes Ashtottara Shata Namavali. So you remember the order? Sri Suktam, Lakshmi Sahasranamam version 1, version 2. Then we have Lakshmi Ashtottaram. There is a Lakshmi Ashtakam. Namastestu Mahamaye Shri Pithe Surapujite Shankha Chakra Gadahaste Mahalakshmi Namostute. So there is a composition of 8 plus 1, which is the Palashruti Ashtakam. Then we have Acharya Shri Suktis. One of the earliest is Adi Shankara's Kanakadhārā Stuti. As per the records given in Sringeri Sannidhanam, it is between 788 and 820 AD. I am very clear about this line. So, each Matha in all the Sampradayas have their own biographies. So, we need to learn and respect that. Now, we have Kanakadhārā Stuti by Adi Shankara, who came between 788 and 820 because he lived a lifespan of 32 years. Kanakadhārā Stotram. Followed by that is the 4th shloka called Chatushloki. You remember? 7.5 minutes back I told you. Yamunacharya wrote Shrihi Ityevacha Namate Bhagavati. That was in the 9th, 10th century period. Then in the 11th century, Bhagavad Ramanuja in his Gadyam called Sharanagati Gadyam dedicates a Churnika for Mahalakshmi. He says, Akhila Jagan Mataram, Asman Mataram, Asharanya Sharanyam, Ananya Sharanaha, Sharanamaham Prapadye. Ramanuja's Satsishya called Kuresha, called Kurattalvan in Tamil, Muriyai Kadakkum Perumpugalan, Vanjamukkurumbam, Kuriyai Kadakkum, Nam Kurattalvan, Sharan Kudiyapin, Allah Variyai Kadattal, says Thiruvarangathamudanar. That Kurattalvan called Kuresha gave a beautiful composition called Sri Stavam. His venerated son called as Parashara Bhatta gave us a stotram called Sri Guna Ratna Kosham. Ullasa Pallavita Palita Saptaloki Nirvaha Korakita Nema Katakshalilām Sri Ranga Harnyatala Mangala Deeparekhām Sri Rangaraja Mahishim Shriyam Ashrayamaha. So that is the composition. After Kuresha and his son Parashara Bhatta came an Acharya called Vatsya Varada Guru, often called as Nadadur Ammal. He gave a stotram Akaratraya Sampannam Aravinda Nivasinim Asesha Jagadishitrim Vande Varadavallavam. In that parampara, between the 13th and the 14th century, exactly between 1268 and 1369, for a span of 101 years, lived a great Acharya called Vedanta Deshika, who in Srikanchi wrote a composition called Sri Stuti. Similar to Kanakadhārā Stotram, there was a Dhanavarsham there. Yogarambhatvarita manaso yushmadaikantya yuktam dharmam praptum prathama mihaye dharayante dhanayam tesham bhume dhanapati grihat ambarad ambuderva dhara niryantya adhikam vanchitanam vasunam. He says that is a composition of 25 verses. In the same Shivya Parampara came an Acharya, his own son, called as Kumara Varadacharya, who gave us a composition of 100 shlokas called Lakshmi Shatakam. Then there was another poet, blind at birth, called as Arasanipalai Venkatadhvari Kavi, who gave the grace of, described the grace of Mahalakshmi in a compendium of 1008 verses called Lakshmi Sahasram, divided into 25 chapters called Stabakams. So, we have had Sri Suktam, Lakshmi Sahasranamam, Lakshmi Sahasranamam, Lakshmi Ashtottaram, Lakshmi Ashtakam, Kanakadhārā Stotram, Chatushloki, Sharanagati Gadya Churnika, Sri Stavam, Sri Gunaratna Kosham, Sri Stuti, Nadadurammal Stuti, Lakshmi Shatakam, Lakshmi Sahasram. So for Mahalakshmi alone we have so many compositions. Besides this, we have beautiful Karnataka Sangeeta compositions of Annamaya. Alarulu Puriya Gadenade Kshirabdhi Kanyaka Kushima Lakshmi Chakkani Talliki Chagubala. So all these compositions of Annamaya. Then we have compositions of Purandaradasa. Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramma Kshirabdhi Kanige Shri Mahalakshmi Yarige Vadhuvaguve. We have compositions of Bhadrachala Ramadasu. Nanu Brovamani Chepu Nari Shiromani Janakuni Kutura Janani Janakamma Nanu Brovamani Chepade Sitamma Talli Nanu Brovamani Chepade. Then we have compositions of Tyagaraja Ma Janaki Cheta Petaga Ma Janaki Shri Vanita Hrit Kumudabja Manasa Gochara Dudu Kugala Nanne Dora Muthuswami Dikshita Shri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam in the ragam Shri Varalakshmi Bhajare Re Manasa in the ragam Saurashtram. We have one ragam called Mangala Kaishiki where he has given a composition. He has written a composition in the ragam Madhava Manohari. He has written a ragam composition in the ragam Bilahari. He has written a composition in the ragam Dhanyashi. So close to 10 plus compositions by Muthuswami Dikshita on Mahalakshmi. We have compositions of Papanasam Shivan Mahalakshmi Jaganmata Manamirangi Varamarul Nirangayanil Pugaled. So we have stotrams on one side, compositions on the other side, and the remaining Mahalakshmi in our bank. Right, whatever is left. So in this plethora of compositions, one of the first compositions to come from an Acharya was Kanakadhārā Stotram. Adi Śaṅkarācārya, as his invocatory verse says, he preserved the quintessence of the Shrutis and Smritis. Shruti, Smriti, Purananam. That is why when we do Sankalpam also, we say Shrauta Smarta. Shrauta comes from the word Shruti, the one who respects and follows the Shruti. Smarta comes from the word Smriti, since we have to adhere to Smriti. Shrauta Smarta Vidhi. Shruti Smriti. Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. That Adi Shankara was born in the state of Kerala. Currently, that is a very famous village known as Kaladi. One cannot miss this place because it is very close to the Kochi airport. This Kaladi Kshetram had a devout couple who in the local legend they say went to a kshetram in Thrissur called Vadakkunnadan. Vadakkunnada Kshetram is where Mahadeva is worshipped as a mound of ghee. There is no abhishekam there. Vadakkunnada sarvam tarum natha. So after having venerated that Mahadeva, it is said that the devout couple, Aryamba, she was blessed with a son born in the Ardra Nakshatram. Ardra in Samskrita Bhasha, in the local Tamil and the Malayalam language becomes Thiruvadirai, often today associated with the sweet called Kali. Thiruvadirai Kali. Now, in the Ardra Nakshatram was born Acharya, and he lived for a very short span of 32 years. There is a legend given in the Shankara Vijayam that his parents were asked whether you want a long living, useless child. or a short-lived being extremely useful jet. They chose the latter. This is there in the legend. Now Adi Shankara was born. We have various anecdotes in the Śaṅkarā Vijayam itself, which are many in number. So I am going to adhere to a Śaṅkarā Vijayam called Madhaviya Śaṅkarā Vijayam. So in Madhaviya Śaṅkarā Vijayam, they say that this was the first composition to be born, Kanakadhārā Stotram. The first stotra by the Acharya was Kanakadhārā on Mahalakshmi. How did this happen? There is a legend. I am going to read out from the Madhaviya Śaṅkarā Vijayam. Sahijatu Guru Kule Vasanvayobhi Saha Bhaikshya Lipsaya Bhagavan Bhavanam Dvijanmano Dhanahinasya Vivesha Kasyachit. This is from Madhaviya Śaṅkarā Vijayam. It is said that the Acharya, as a little boy, till then he had not taken up to sannyasashrama. He was still a batu. He was a brahmachari. And it is believed that if you are a Brahma Yajna performing brahmachari or later a grihastha, you have to live a frugal life by consuming whatever is given in alms to you. But there is a difference between how you give alms to a brahmachari and a grihastha. A brahmachari has to be served cooked rice, whereas a grihastha will be given raw rice, because a grihastha is technically allowed to do any activity associated with fire. He can do yajna and cooking. They have to cook. So, whereas the unmarried man should not go near the fire except samidadana. So you give cooked rice to him. So Acharya went, it is again said anecdotally, that after Ekadashi Tithi comes the Dvadashi Tithi. Ekadashi we have to observe a fast. We have got great Vaidika names today, intermittent fasting. Right. If you say you are doing Ekadashi Vrata, you are extremely mundane and very primitive. I am on intermittent fasting. You're somewhere there. So, Ekadashi Tithi, there is a difference here. Being a Sri Vaishnava, there is a small difference in the way we observe the Ekadashi Tithi. In Vaishnava Sampradaya, we see it differently. So, 60% of the times, Smartas and Vaishnavas will observe on the same day. In certain occasions, the Vaishnavas will observe the next day. Ekadashi, we will see the difference. Second is Krishna Janmashtami also, we will see the difference. In Vaishnava Sampradaya, the prominence is more towards the Nakshatram. In Smarta Sampradaya, it is more towards the Tithi. On many occasions, we are saved because both will come on the same day. When it comes on different days, Krishna has to consume, sadly, all bhakshanams on different days. Now, it is believed on the Ekadashi, we recite a portion of the Vedas called Achidram. And on the day of Dvadashi, we recite a portion called Katakam. This is a Paddhati. So Adi Shankara, in a Spurvashrama as a Vatu, went on seeking alms. He had to be served cooked rice on Dvadashi Tithi. But it is said in the Śaṅkarā Vijayam that the lady's house outside whom he was standing, she was extremely drenched in destitution, daridryam, no enough food to give. So she felt extremely sad that she couldn't give anything to this resplendent young boy with such good demeanor and radiating effulgence. So she thought, when the boy is outside at my doorstep, I need to bestow him something. If I don't have cooked rice, I will give him something. She found gooseberries. जैसे कि उत्तर भारत में उसी को आमला कहते हैं, आमला आमला. ತಮಿಳು ಚೊಲ್ಲುವುದು ನೆಲ್ಲಿಕಾಯಿನ ಚೊಲ್ಲುವುದು. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನೆಲ್ಲಿಕಾಯಿ. తెలుగులో ఏం చెప్తారండి ఇది? ఉసూర్కాయ. ఊసూర్కాయ. ఊసూర్కాయ. అర్థమైంది కదా? ఊసూర్కాయ, నెల్లికాయ, నెల్లికాయ. മലയാളത്തിൽ എന്താണ്? നെല്ലിക്ക. Then I have to remember so many names. Nellikya, Nellikai, Nellikai, Usukkai, and Amla. Now she noticed Avla because we believe that on the day of Dvadashi, since we have assumingly fasted on Ekadashi, we have to feast on Dvadashi. You have to take the E out of feast and fast on Ekadashi. Ekadashi is fast. Dvadashi is feast. But you may choose to do the latter on both the days. That is different. Now, on the day of Dvadashi, it is a belief that you do not cook anything involving tamarind. That's a belief. That is why we mix the South Indian curry. North Indian morkulambu. Along with that, we give avla chutney. This lady did not have cooked rice because on the day of Dvadashi, the first food should be consumed a few hours from the sunrise. So that food in Sanskritam is called parana. There was no rice for parana. So what she did was she had to give him gooseberries. She thought she'd let him go home, look at Hebbar's kitchen and make chutney. But those gooseberries were also not in good condition. Half of it was rotten. But she felt something has to be given. She took those gooseberries with that embarrassing touch to herself that she is not giving the best to him. She went outside and put that into his crucible. This boy, for a moment, thought, looking at the coyness in her eyes, that she is feeling so embarrassed to give something like the gooseberries. Looking at the state of the gooseberries, he knew that she was drenched in destitution. That is when, in order to add some joy and material wealth to her life, he is said to have invoked the grace of Mahalakshmi. He started singing a composition on Mahalakshmi. Madhaviya Shankara Vijayam says that Mahalakshmi appeared in front of that little boy, seeable, visible only to the boy's eyes. She said, Shankara, you have invoked me through your stotra. What should I do? The little boy, Vatu, said, why don't you bless this lady? She said, as per her Purva Janma records, she has accumulated a lot of Purva Janma karma, which is papa. That is being the impediment in me blessing her. She has done papam, so how can I bless when it is in the balance? I cannot give. Then Adi Shankara stated, you appeared in front of me. The moment I sang in front of you, you appeared in front of me. Why did you appear in front of me? Because you have done punya. Bless her with wealth, looking at me. He said, look at my punyam and bless her. I don't need wealth. You say I have got punyam. Look at my punyam and bless her. Then she asked, how can I do that? I have made the rules. That is when Adi Shankara stated, you are the sovereign. You have made the rules, but even if you manage to not adhere to the rules by an iota, nobody is going to question you because you are Aditi. Aditi in Sanskritam means one with the sovereign power who's unquestionable. Since you are unquestionable, why don't you bless this lady? She said, I will bless, continue singing on me. Then he continued the composition, and towards the end is when there was Kanakadhārā. There was flow, rain. छप्पड़ पाड़ पे जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, उसी को कहते हैं संस्कृत भाषा में Kanakadhārā. So this Kanakadhārā, kūraya pitchindu kotradhu அப்படிங்கிற பாருங்க. So, well, I was 2 days back in St. Louis. There was some alert on all mobiles that there could be a tornado. So that time the person who drove me said, Kanakadhārā has another meaning here. Kūraya pitchindu kottom, kūrayum eduthu poidum. But Here he desired wealth. So Kanakadhārā Stotram was born as a result. So I have given you the Purvangam of Kanakadhārā Stotram. Angam Harehe Pulakabhushanam Ashrayanti Bringanganeva Mukula Bharanam Tamalam Angikritākhila Vibhūtirapangalila Mangalyadastu Mama Mangala Devataya Angam Harehe Pulaka Bhushanam Ashrayanti. So from verse 1 till verse 8, Adi Shankara talks about two things. One about Mahalakshmi, her eyes and her grace, and her association with her husband, which is Narayana. First 8 compositions will have that. So she says, your Lord, Kantaste Purushottamaha. Narayana is like the Tamala Vriksham. You know what is Tamala? She says, Angam Harehe Pulakabhushanam Ashrayanti Bringanganeva Mukula Bharanam Tamalam. What is Tamala? See, for pulav, you use that pattayala. That is called Tamala Vriksham. So in that Tamala Vriksham, there will be branches and there will be beautiful buds. And when they blossom into flowers, so will the swarm of bees hover around these flowers to collect the nectar. So if Narayana is the Vriksham and his hands are the branches and the color of the Tamala Vriksham leaves is his hue, then the phalam that he gives are the flowers, and Mahalakshmi's eyes are the bumblebees that hover around the flowers of the Tamala Vriksham, who's Narayana. Angam Harehe Pulaka Bhushanam Ashrayanti. See, to understand and appreciate literature, you should be able to see that painted in front of you as a canvas. Else you may think, how can you compare Narayana to a Vriksham? Where are his roots? See, in literature, when you compare something, you'll have to appreciate the simile. When I say that Mahalakshmi's eyes are the bumblebees, then you should not ask where are her wings. So, Bringanganeva Mukula Bharanam Tamalam Angikritākhila Vibhūtir Apangalila. See, the beauty is, it seems that the nectar that is oozing from the flowers of the Tamala Vriksham called Narayana is oozing because of the grace of Mahalakshmi's eyes that are looking at him. So he says, Angikritākhila Vibhūtir Apangalila Mangalyadastu. Now he has praised Narayana. He has called Narayana as the Tamala Vriksham. He has referred to the flowers that are dripping with nectar. He says that the nectar is coming out of the flowers because of the bumblebees that hover around it. The bumblebees are nothing but the large eyes of Mahalakshmi. Now who is Mahalakshmi? Mangalyadastu. Mama Mangala Devatayaha. You are the one who bestows me with great Mangalam. Mangala is auspiciousness. So Mahalakshmi is treated as the very personification of auspiciousness. Who says this? 250th year of Muthuswami Dikshita, he says, Haridra Kumkuma Vastralankrita Vigrahaya Daridra Dukhadi Murdhanyashi Vyanigrahaya Varadaraja Gopala Hridaya Sarasi Jagrahaya Varalakshmya Harihaya Guru Guha Bhaktanu Grahaya Surachita Padambujaya Sudhasagaratmajaya Suravinuta Shivanujaya Maya Bijaya Vijaya Mangala Devataya Tvaya Bahumanitoham Mangala Devataya. What all Mangalam does she give? We will read that in the next verse. So the first verse talks about Mahalakshmi's glances that are akin to bumblebees that hover around the flowers of a Vriksham of Tamalam, where Narayana is the Tamalam. Is it very close to the day that we are appreciating? There was a beautiful alankaram to Sharada Devi with full of bangles. Kanakabalaya mudra kantadeshe dadhanaha padipati shayaniya utthitasthvam prabhate varada satatam antarmanasam sannidheyaha. Incidentally, it was Adi Puram of Andal. Andal in the Tamil language is referred to as Kodai or Andal. In Sanskrita Bhasha, she is called Goda Devi. That is why Krishna Devaraya wrote a beautiful Telugu poem called Amukta Malyada on Andal. Amukta Malyada ante Tamil Bhashalo chaptunnappudu Sudi Kodutta Nachiyar ani cheptaru kada. Aa artham Amukta Malyada, the one who wore a garland and presented the own garland to Narayana. So Goda Devi has a stuti called Goda Stuti. So Vedanta Deshika says, Sri Vishnu Chitta Kulanandana Kalpavalli Sringeri Harichandana Yoga Drishyam Sakshat Kshamam Karunaya Kamalamivanyam Godam. So Sri Vishnu Chitta, Vishnu Chitta is the father of Andal. He developed and nourished and nurtured a beautiful garden in his heart, it seems, mind. Sri Vishnu Chitta Kulanandana. In that beautiful garden is a very fragrant tree of sandalwood, Chandana. That Chandana is not an ordinary Chandana, it is a Chandana tree of Narayana, Hari Chandana. So Narayana is personified as the Chandana tree. Around that Chandana tree is the wish-yielding creeper called Kalpaka Vriksham that goes. That is Andal. So Andal is the creeper who is wish-yielding, who is tied to the tree called Narayana, who is sandalwood. Sri Vishnu Chitta Kulanandana Kalpavalli Sringeri Harichandana Yoga Drishyam Sakshat Kshamam Karunaya Kamalamivanyam Godam Ananya Sharanaha Sharanam Prapadye. Similarly, Narayana is the Tamala Vriksham and the beast that hover around the flowers is Mahalakshmi. Next verse. Mugdha muhur vidadhati vadane murare Prematrapa pranahitani gata gatani Maladrishor madhukareva mahodphadeya Same shriyam dishatu sagara sambhavaya. Sagara sambhavaya. He refers to Mahalakshmi as the one who is emerged from the oceans. Sagara sambhava. She is regarded as the daughter of the king of ocean, ocean rajas, Lakshmi, Kshira, Samudra, Raja, Tanayam. Sagara Sambhavayaha, Mugdha Muhur Vidhadati, since you emerge from the milky ocean. See, milk has a great association with beauty. If you go to Ayurveda, there is a karma vidhi called as Panchakarma. Have you heard of this? Panchakarma. They will check your body. If you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, they will check your nadi and they will check if you have got kapham, vatam or pittam. Based on that, they will tell you avoid this, avoid that. And then they will begin the treatment. They will give a herbal concoction in the form of ghee. It is called sneha panam. Sneha in Sanskrit means lubricant. So ghee is called sneha. Sneha panam means you have to consume ghee. Consume ghee. Then that in Ayurveda it is believed ghee has the property to absorb your body toxins. Then what will I do with the toxin-filled ghee in my body? Then it will become mandam. Then then your skin will start feeling oily. When too much of ghee is consumed, you will feel mandam. Mandam means very lazy, lethargic. Then as the toxins have been accumulated, they stay in the stomach. That is when Ayurveda Shastra says, then you will have to give them salt water, and then that is called Vamanam. Vamanam is puking. So you consume and you puke. Then you clear your gut, your small intestine and large intestine, and you clear that. Then you clear your Nasika Dwaram. Then finally will come Raktamochanam, where if you have some blood in the body in the form of boils. Leeches are added onto the skin because they consume that. That is why Dhanavantari has leeches on his body. If you have checked, this is Panchakarma. In that there is one process called Kshirodhara. Kshirodhara is where they give medicated milk throughout the body. That is why in the Johnson & Johnson baby advertisement, towards the last frame, that baby will be bathed in oil, in milk. Even in the vidhi of most of the Vedic marriages, the incoming son-in-law and the girl, their feet is washed with milk. Palale kalalambi pattale. Why not the entire body as a litter? Our wire than yet than a Palale kalalambi pattale tudaitu Mani tengai kaiyil kodutu manjal neer shulachi ladi. We say, right? So that milk is extremely important. That milky ocean has given rise to Mahalakshmi. So her face is glowing with blemishless beauty. And with that blemishless beauty filled face, she has a smile that is so very captivating. And she looks at Vishnu. Mugdha muhur vidhadhati. With that vadanam. Vadanam means face. Vadane. Whom does she look at? Murarehe. The one who annihilated a demon called Mura. Murarehe. How does she look? You can look at somebody with very you can give a nasty look, but she gives a very beautiful look. Prematrapa pranahitani. Everybody will expect this way. During the marriage, if you have noticed, there is one Vaidika mantra. The priest will say, look at the boy and say, now look into the girl's eyes. You have to keep looking at each other for a few seconds. Whereas Mahalakshmi and Narayana keep looking at each other. Aren't they bored? Yeah. Prematrapa pranihitani gata gatani. So she keeps looking and he keeps looking. Why? Because every second they appear new. See, we get bored because see, one person may look good at 6 a.m. in the morning. As they come towards the end of the day, but every second he looks nice. So prematrapa pranihitani gata gatani. So they keep looking at each other head to toe, head over heels. Keshadi padam, we say, right? I fell in love head over heels. That is called Keshadi padam. Mala drushor madhukareva mahotpaleya sameshriyam dishatu sagara sambhavaya. When Mahavishnu's face, see, every verse Adi Shankara will keep changing the simile. Now Vishnu's face is like blue lotus flower because he's dark. So her eyes are like the bumblebees that keep looking at him, hovering around his face. Gata gatani maladrishor madhukareva mahotpaleya sameshriyam. Mahalakshmi, Adi Shankara says, you're always looking at your beautiful husband's blemishless face that is akin to the blue lotus flower. For a second, look at this lady. He says, Same Shriyam Dishatu Sagara Sambhavaya. Why? Only because of your looks he manages to stay as the undiminishing, blemishless blue flower. If you take your glances away from him and look at her, she too will attain the same prosperity that your husband has attained. Kamalajadala Vimala Sunayana Karivarada Karunabu Deye Karuna Charate Kamala. So we invoke Mahalakshmi through this Geetam. So Sameshriyam Dishatu Sagara Sambhavayaha. Then Mahalakshmi asked Adi Shankar, Shankar, bolo, when have I always looked at him That is when Adi Shankara must have said. Why? Kamban says, Ennalum nalathinal inayal nindroli kannodu kanninai kabbi ஒன்றை ஒன்று உண்ணவும் நிலைப்பெறாது உணர்வும் ஒன்றிட அண்ணரும் நோக்கினான் அவரும் நோக்கினாள். They kept looking at each other. Mahalakshmi as Sita, because you looked at the beautiful face that is akin to the blemishless full moon of Rama's face, that he was able to marry you. See what compensates is. Why Rama was lucky in marrying Sita? Because Sita looked at him. Partha, I give you all the power, you can marry me now. So Rama is the cell phone, Sita is the charger. What will the cell phone do without the charger? So you charge Rama to marry you. So now, Annarum Nokinan Avarum Nokinal Gata Gatani Mala Drishor Madhukareva Mahotpaleya. Now, there is a beautiful verse in Lakshmi Sahasram where the poet says, Guptavaneshu Vicharanti Suhridya Minaha Kasyapino Kuvalayeshu Diva Prakashaha Rajyo Bibheti Jagadamba Kusheshayalihi Karne Jashe Jayati Netra Yuge Bhavatyaha. Look at the beautiful poetry here. The poet says that Mahalakshmi, to your beautiful eyes, because Adi Shankara keeps on telling, look at her, look at her, look at her. How will you look with your eyes? So he keeps describing the eyes. So the poet here says Mahalakshmi's eyes are so beautiful that they extend till the ears. What are they comparable to? To the fish. Generally we say, Madurayil paranda meen kodiyai un kangalil kandene is a song, right? So fish like eyes, chanchala drishti. One. Second, eyes can also have, there is something today in my house, they buy eyeshadow. That if you add that blue color eyeshadow, then it will look like blue lotus, Nilot Pala. Then he says it can also look like a normal lotus, blue lotus and fish. So people used to compare, oh, these eyes of Mahalakshmi are akin to the fishes that swim, are akin to the blue lotus and the lotus. Now, when these three objects looked at Mahalakshmi, they felt extremely bad. They felt very embarrassed. They said, how can you compare her eyes with us? Her eyes are beyond comparison. They are incomparable. You have compared with us. And they felt extremely embarrassed that these poets keep comparing Mahalakshmi's eyes with them. So the fish was so embarrassed that it went and hid itself into the deep waters not visible to the human eyes. The blue lotus blossomed only during the night when others were at sleep. And the real lotus was afraid of Mahalakshmi's brother who is Chandra and would blossom only in his absence. You are able to appreciate the poetry here. So that is why Adi Shankara says, Mugdha muhur vidhadati vadane murarehe prematrapa pranihitani gata gatani maladrushor madhukareva mahotpaleya sameshriyam dishatu sagara sambhavaya amilitakshya madhigamya muda mukundam anandakandamanimeshamananga tantram sthiti kaninika pakshmanetram Bhutyai bhave mama bhujanga shayanganaya amilitaksham. See, when we do dhyana, if we go to meditation classes, as per Dharma, see why I am telling you again is, in the last 30 years, meditation has gained so much traction, which is good. But the dhyana that we have envisioned from the Rishi's perspective is slightly different from the dhyana which is taught today. With no offense meant. They say, light a candle in front of you, dark the entire room. Then there will be one Buddha there, toy massage Buddha. You have to think of Buddha and meditate. This is not the dhyana that Patanjali has said. It is called Bhagavad Dhyana. You have to think of Bhagavan's beautiful Vigraham when you do dhyana. See, we think very often that anything bereft of form and qualities is very superior. If we think of Guruvayurappan or Krishna, oh, you're still in that level. You need to think of a wide space. Then that accent should come and the baritone, and then there should be a counter outside. So that's how we have positioned meditation today. If you wear panchakacham and say think dhyana, then we are not that superior. So that is our notion. But dhyana means amilitaksham. Amilitaksham means when you do dhyana, Patanjali says your eyes should not be completely closed. It should be partially closed with your eyes focused on the tip of your nose. And the Devata on whom you are doing Aradhana should appear at that tip. And you should keep meditating on him. That is called dhyana. So the eyes should be partially closed, right? Partially closed eyes is called amilitaksham. So he says, amilitaksham adhiganda mudamukundam anandakandam animesham ananga tantram. Look at the beautiful words. Ananga. Ananga means Manmatha. Manmatha is called Ananga. So because he was burnt into a heap of ashes by Mahadeva, he was bereft of Anga. So he is called Ananga. Ananga Tantram means Kama Shastra. So I'm sure if there are Dampatis here, if there are parents here, grandparents here, prospect brides and grooms, one concern that most parents have of today, both in the States and in Bharatadesham, is the children whom they marry should stay together. That is one major concern that people have. Due to a variety of reasons, people do undergo a lot of marriages that may be toxic in nature, where the girl and the boy may have to separate. So we cannot avoid on certain occasions, but most parents always aspire that their children should stay together. For that, the love, though with certain ups and downs, should be undiminishing in nature. For that, this stotra is to be recited. Amilitaksham adhigamya mudamukundam anandakandam animesham anangatantram. Anangatantra is Manmatha's Kama Shastra. Only if there is a desired level of passion between the man and the woman, they can stay together. So you keep on looking to a Jodi number one, Mahalakshmi and Narayana Bhargava. Avada mari ivanga the mami kekara ivar enna avar mariya irukka. Amilitaksham adhigamya mudamukundam anandakandam anangatantram. It gives you another message. That when Narayana and Mahalakshmi keep looking at each other with eye glances, a great dampatyam couplehood is about understanding eye gestures. The best of the couple do not talk much. They will do it through their eye glances. So I asked someone, are you coming for the lecture? That mama looks at her. Then he says, we've got some other work. We're busy this week, so we may not be able to come. I got Amilitaksham Adhigamya Udamukundam Anandakandam Animesham Anangatantram. This is the only thing that I've learned from my 15 years of lectures. I will know who will all come tomorrow. Just the body language I will be able to decipher. Who will come, who may not come, who may come 2 days later. Bhutyai bhaven mama bhujanga shayanganayaha, for which there is a beautiful example. In Srimad Ramayanam, Sumantra comes and informs Rama, because earlier Rama was told that he will become the Yuvaraja, the heir apparent. So Rama and Sita were engaged in performing Aradhana to their Kuladhanam called Ranganatha that night. Sumantra comes in the early hours of the morning and says, you have been summoned to Kaikeyi's Antahpuram where your father is. Now Rama has to leave. Tata sammanayamasa Sitamidam uvachaha. Father is calling. He's not going miles away. He could have just left. Valmiki says, Rama looked at Sita's face and went, it seems. Because the promise that Rama as Narayana has made in Ksheerabdi to the Devas is Siddhagandharva Yakshascha Tatastvam Sharanam Gataha. I shall ensure that the Rakshasas are annihilated. For that he was born as Rama. After having been born as Rama, he has to go all the way to Lanka. To go to Lanka, he has to reach midway the Dandakaranyam forest. To go to the forest, his father has to command him. For his father Dasharatha to command him, that command should go without any impediments. The one who can take away the impediments and bless him and ordain him to stay in the forest is Mahalakshmi. So Rama, prior to meeting his father, looked at Sita's eye glances and went, Amilitaksham adhigamya muda mukundam Anandakandamanimesham ananga tantram Ake karasthitikanika pakshmanetram Bhutyai bhaven mama bhujanga shayanganayaha. See, often we are showcased in architecture. Mahavishnu is in the reclining posture. Mahalakshmi keeps doing massage. You see that Padakainkarya. Many of the girls, when I spoke in Palakkad, a group of them attended and they said, why can't he press her legs? That is done. See, what photo is taken is during the daytime. Then only you see, night time, so, one. Is there proof to it? Everybody wants proof. So, Grok 4 and Ask Perplexity states. What does it state? In Ashtapadi, Gita Govindam, Krishna has promised Radha, I will come and meet you by the banks of Yamuna. Wait for me, Radha. And he has gone. Right. Radha has been waiting. She has put her gagra of Sabyasachi, dupatta of Ritu Kumar. She has put and she has been waiting from 8 p.m. It is 10, 11. Krishna has not turned up. That is when she dispatches her close friend, the Sakhi, to go and check what he is doing. Krishna has been extremely playful with the Gopika Stris. This lady comes and says, he seems to have a nice time, Radha. Wo abhi aane wala nahi hai. Dekh lo na, likh ke rakh lo, wo abhi aane wala to nahi hai. So, that time, Radha feels very cheated. She feels she has been duped. Finally, after some dialogues by Radha through the Sakhi to Krishna, back and forth, finally Krishna arrives at about 3 a.m. All this while she has been waiting. That coffee is dry, now not that hot. That chai latte is gone. So she said, she didn't speak a word to Krishna. Krishna realized that he was at mistake. So that is when he starts pacifying her. He says, what a beautiful face, Radha. Even when you get angry so beautifully. கோபம் கூட எங்க ஆத்துக்காரர் அழகா படுவார். எங்க ஆத்துக்காரர் கோபப்பட்டு நீங்க பார்க்கணும், அவ்வளவு அழகா. Radha, you got such a beautiful face. நீங்க கோபா ಬರುವಾಗನು ನೀ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೀಯೇ, Radha. That is when she asks, is it? See, when you speak also, you speak so well. Vadasiyati kinchidapi dantaruchi kaumudi haratu taratimiram adigoram. Look at Krishna, the way he pacifies. He says it's dark everywhere. But you know how it has become bright? Because when you look at me and smile, the whiteness that emanates from both rows of your teeth makes it bright. Vadasi yadi kinchidapi dantaruchi kaumudi haratu tara timiram ati ghoram priye charushile priye charushile charushile priye. She doesn't speak a word,
That is when Krishna says, yes, I am at mistake. Kya kar sakta hu, bolo Radha. With your nails, if you want to scratch my soft skin, do it. If with your teeth you want to bite me, you bite. Finally, he says, if nothing is going to please you of all that I have said, keep your lotus-like feet on my head. Mama Shirasi Mandanam. So forget about Krishna pressing her feet. He says, keep your feet on my head. So, Ake karasthitika ninika pakshmanetram bhutyai bhaven mama bhujanga Śaṅkarācārya. Bahvantare means the region between two arms. Bahu, right? Bahu, two arms. Bahvantare, this region, chest is between two arms. Bahvantare, of whose arms? Madhu Jitaha, the one who has won over Madhu. There was a Rakshasa called Madhu. Over Madhu Vishnu won. So he is called Madhu Jitaha, the one who has won over Madhujit. This Madhujit's chest region between two arms. Bahvantare Madhujita Shruta. Kaustubheyaha. There is a resplendent, priceless gem that has no comparison. Nalli secondus. Second to none. That gem, Kaustubheyaha, Haravaliva Harinila Mayi Vibhati. Around that gem, next to that is a mole called Srivatsam. So there is a gem. Next to the gem is a mole for Bhagavan called Srivatsam. Generally, mole is dark in color, but he is as such dark hue. So you have to search for that mole. So there is a mole. But so that we can recognize that better, Mahalakshmi sits on that Vatsam. So it is called Shri Vatsam. So she sits there. Now, how will we recognize? Because she is gold-hued, Hiranyavarnam Harini. Her feet is with red lac dye, Padalakshara Sankam. So with the combination of gold with red present on that mole, we can recognize her. Next to her is the Kaustubham, which is a resplendent gem, which is like a mirror to her. So Mahavishnu has placed it strategically there, because she can keep looking at the mirror, Kaustubham. As she keeps looking at the mirror like this, every time she looks, around that gem there will be beautiful sapphires that are born, it seems, every time she looks. So her looks give rise to sapphire, which becomes a mala around that Kaustubham. You are able to understand the description. Haravaliva, there is a chain. Hari Neela, sapphire, Mayi Vibhati, because of you it turns into a mala. So there is a Kaustubham, around which is this Kama Prada. Hey Mahalakshmi, you incite the right amount of required passion. Kama Prada. Bhagavatopi Katakshamala Kalyanama Vahatume. When you look, your looks turn into a beautiful sapphire mala around an existing resplendent Kaustubha gem. With those eye glances, can't you look at this poor lady? Kalyanama Vahatume Kamalala Yayaha. When you look, every look of yours turns into a beautiful lotus. Next, Dikshita. You must have heard of a great Vagayakara in the Karnataka Sangeeta tradition called Mudduswami Dikshita. Generally we call him Muttuswami, but he was born as a result of Kartikeya's grace of Vaidishwaran Kovil. So he is called Mudduswami. He refers to him as Mudduswami Dikshita. Mudduswami Dikshita was in destitution as well. Most people who wrote compositions were poor. Most people who sing compositions are rich. Rich. So, when he was in destitution and his wife said, what is this? Dhan to chahiye na ghar chalane ke liye, thodi to Costco mein aise andar ghusne denge, paisa chahiye Mudduswami ji. That is when he invoked the grace of Mahalakshmi through a composition. Shweta Dvipa Vasinim Shri Kamalambikam Param Bhuta Bhauvya Vilasini Bhusura Pujitambaram Mataramam Jamalini Manikya Bharanadaram Gita Vadya Vinodini Sangita Vadya Vinodini Girijam Tamindiram Shita Kirana Nivavadanam Shrita Chintamani Sadanam Pita Vasanam Guru Muhammatulakantam Lalitam Hiranmahim. With those glances, can't you look at me? So, Adi Shankara too invokes that grace. Kalam Budali Lalito Rasikaita Bhare. So, the last shloka, Vishnu was addressed as Madhujit. So, it is said that from Narayana's Nabhi came a Padma. Seated on that Padma was Chaturmukha Brahma. Brahma was continuously producing production. After that production, after some while, he yawned. So he yawned. It is said that around that yawning period, in Narayana's ears came a earwax. That became two asuras. One was very soft to touch, extremely soft, mrudu. Since he was mrudu, over a period of time he was called Madhu. The other one was Kathora, very, very hard. Kathora became Kaitabha. So, these asuras had a boon that they could be vanquished only at the same time in a place which is not generally a battlefield. So, Narayana obtained a boon from them that I should be able to kill you. Note this point. He said, please give me the boon that I can kill you. So Madhu Kaitaba said, maar sakte ho to tum hi maar sakte ho. So he kept both of them on his lap. Lap is not the traditional battleground. And he crushed them. So this Madhu and Kaitaba were crushed. Hence he is called Madhujit in the previous shloka. In this he is called Kaitabhare, the one who brought Kaitabha to end. Now this Madhu and Kaitaba, when they were crushed, their body fat, which is called Medhas, emerged, yellow fat. They show this liposuction surgery, they'll show that yellow fat, right? That is called Medhas. That is not a very good smelling fat. So this Medhas was applied on earth for lubrication. So Bhumi is called Medini from Medhas. So this Kaitabhare, Kalambudali Lalito. Now look at the other description. Shankara has used poetry to the highest level here. He says Kalambudali. Now how does Bhagavan look? He looks like a bunch of rain-bearing clouds that are just about to precipitate. Dark clouds. How does Mahalakshmi look? Seated on his chest, she looks like a streak of lightning. Kalambudali lalito rasi kaitabhare dharadhare. Like how the rain-bearing clouds with a streak of lightning bless peasants with sufficient rainfall. You, Mahalakshmi, should precipitate your grace on this woman and make her rich. Kalambudali lalito rasi kaitabhare dharadhare spuratiya taditanga neva Matu samasta jagatam mahaniya murti. She said, why should I bless him, Shankara? Why should I bless her? Mata samasta jagatam, because you are not only my mother, you are universal mother, thereby her mother as well. A mother will never want to see her son or daughter suffering in poverty, hence you should bless her. So he says, Matu samasta jagatam, he mata mahaniya murtihi. Bhadrani, Bhadram means auspiciousness. Bhadram karne bhishunuyama devaha. We say Bhadram means auspiciousness. That is why Janaka, by getting his daughter married to Rama, says, Yam Sita Mamasuta Sahadharma Charitava Pratikcha Chainam Bhadram Te. Bhadram means auspiciousness. Mahalakshmi, Matu Samasta Jagatam Mahaniya Murti, Bhadrani. Only when you look at her, auspiciousness will be there. Dishatu, who are you? Mata, you are the mother to all of us. But don't you know that parents, only when they love their children, children will like them. You have been recipient of your father's grace in one avatara. She asked, I just can't remember. Can you tell me when, Shankara? Bhargava Nandanayaha. When you were the daughter to Bhrigu Maharshi, you were recipient of his grace. That is why she is called Bhargavi. Bhrigu Nandani is Bhargavi. So that is why we say, Bhargava Nandanayaha, you received the love of your father, you know what parental love is. You are the mother to all of us, so you should know the problems faced by your children. Since you are mother to all of us, once you were daughter to Bhrigu, bless this lady. Matu samasta jagatam mahaniya murtihi bhadrani me dishatu bhargava nandanayaha. Then she asked, Shankara, do I possess that power? Are you sure about this? Praptam padam prathamata khalu yad prabhava mangalya bhaji madhumathini manmathena maya pade tariham antaramikshanaddam mandala samcha makaralaya kanyakaya. Makaralaya kanyaka, the one who is the daughter of the ocean. What does the ocean have? Saltwater crocodiles. Makara, Alaya, Kanyaka, daughter of the king of the oceans who possesses saltwater crocodiles. Makaralaya Kanyakayaha. Oh lady, Praptam Padam Prathamata Khalu Yat Prabhava. She asked, do I possess auspiciousness? Yes, he said. What is the example? The poet says, Tvad bhratu rindor anuchara yoga prayena mudopya shubhat kujanma swabhu vibhushe sa budagraganyo babuva jagraha cha mangalakhyam. What a beautiful shloka. Then it is believed that when Mahadeva was dancing, he was doing tandavam. Between his brows arose a drop of sweat. It's called Swedanam. In Ayurveda, Swedanam means you go to sauna, steam, right? So your body has to sweat. That is called Swedanam, where you allow the body to forcefully sweat. But Shastram says sweat is a sign of poverty. That is what Shastram believes. So when Mahadeva was dancing, a drop of his sweat fell on Mother Earth, Bhumi. Bhumi gave rise to another graha called Mars as a result. So Mars is believed in literature to have come from Earth. Now you may wonder, how will this give? I'll tell you one vishayam. There is a theory called Thea. If you've heard of it, it is believed that the Earth on which we live, we survive, and the natural satellite to Earth, which is the moon, were once one entity. They were smelted together. As the centrifugal force increased, it separated and moon became a different entity from Earth. Some of the properties of Earth remained exclusively with her, whereas some were lost by the moon. One is the gravitational pull. But some properties are shared as per this theory of Thea. That is why the mineral composition found on the moon, the lunar surface, matches the mineral composition of certain sand samples found on Earth. In Bharatadesham, like how you have a NASA, we have an entity called ISRO, which is based in Andhra, called Sri Harikota. Why did they place it in Sri Harikota? Because moon, Chandra, comes from Vishnu. Chandrama Manaso Jataha. So if you have to send a mission to the moon, it has to go from Sriharikota. Correct? Now in Sriharikota, prior to sending a mission, a vehicle to the moon, Yana in Sanskrit means vehicle. The Yana which goes to Chandra is called Chandrayana. So prior to sending the vehicle to Chandra, samples of earth found in certain villages of the Namakkal district in Tamil Nadu was collected. You can check all of this. You can fact check me like Rajdeep or Barka. I have no problem. So this is found. So samples were collected from villages of the Namakkal district. The same composition of the sand of these two villages in Namakkal district matches that of the moon. So that confirms the theory of Thea. So two astronomical entities smelted together over a period of weather, says one Shastram. Then Mars emerged out of Earth. So Mars is believed to be the sun to Earth. Only if you follow me. See, if it is just Ramayana, I have come very many times to the Balaji Temple of Great Lakes, Michigan. 2015, 16, 18, 23, 25. I have come 5 times. I have given 28 lectures in that temple. So a large section of the audience have known me for years together, have seen me literally grow in x-axis. So those are topics like the Ramayana, like the Krishna Charitra, like the Bhagavata, there is a flow. But when we are delineating a topic like Adi Śaṅkarācārya Stotra, I have to go Stotra by Stotra. So initial hours you may find it a bit tricky to follow. That is why I told you carry a paper. Then only you will take this as a serious lecture. This is, see if it is Ayyo Shraddha, right, Veerdas, you don't have to carry. But for Kanakadhārā Stotram you have to carry. Yeah, Vikkal's Vikram. So, now, Bhumi gave rise to Mars. That is why Mudduswami Dikshita says, Angarakamashrayamyaham Vinatashrita Janabandaram Mangalavaram Bhumi Kumaram Varam Varam Angarakamashrayamyaham Bhumi Kumaram. So that is why we send missions to Mars to check if it apes Earth, because like mother, like son. So there should be properties of the mother found in the sun. So he is red in color because he arose from Rudramurti. Angaraka is treated as Kartikeya as well. But there is a belief, Ku in Bhumi means, you have to follow me to understand this shloka. Ku in Sanskritam means Bhumi. That is why when you do Shraddham for your forefathers, you have to do it at that time when Bhumi is hot. Hence it is called Kutapa Kalam. Tapa, hot. Ku, Bhumi. Bhumi should get hot. So Kutapa Kalam. Ku means earth. Ku also means inferior. When the quality is not great, you use the prefix Ku. Sudhama wore clothes which were torn. So he was called Chela Vastram. Kuchela, poorly clothed. So Ku is poor. Kuja is the name of Mars. Ja means born. Kuja means inferior or poor born. Why? Because he is born from the sweat of Mahadeva. Sweat is for destitution. Correct? Incidentally, this one whom we treat does not have a great birth is called Mangala Devata. Mangalavaram we say. How did auspiciousness come? The poet says, it seems Kuja felt extremely depressed and he performed austerities to Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi said, I will take away this tag away from you and add auspiciousness. What she did is to do a sandwich. What she did in the sandwich, along with her is born Chandra. Correct? Chandram, Chandra Sahodari. So she is born with Chandra. If she is auspicious, so will her brother. What is her brother's day? Moon's day is Monday, Somavaram. So her brother is as auspicious as her. How will a person earn respect? education. Kattrorukku sendra vidamellam sirappu, says the Tamil proverb. If you are well educated, well learned, filled with good values, you will be respected everywhere. Respected, educated people were called Buddha Janaha. Buddha means learned. So learned people come on Budhavaram. Auspicious day is Somavaram. That graha which was feeling very inferior was Kuja. So Mahalakshmi placed him in between Somavaram and Budhavaram to make him auspicious. So he is sandwiched between the two. Budhagraganya after Soma, says the poet. So if she adds Mangalatvam to Devatas, this is one example. So Mangalya Bhaji Madhumathini Manmathena. Next, generally, where else has she added auspiciousness? Trinam. Trinam means grass. Right? When Ravana in Sundarakandam, every day he would come in the middle of the night leaving his wife. In the middle of the night he will come to Ashokavanam to propose to Sita. One day he will bring organza, one day Venkatagiri, one day Kalamkari, one day Paithani, one day Muga, one day KSIC, one day whatever Kachi work, one day Kani work of Kashmir. He will bring all of this and he will present to her. Ye le lo Sita, terracotta jewelry hai iske saath. Dekho, acha lag raha hai kya Sita? So he will propose. Sita would every day tell him, I don't need this. I did not want all of this. Why are you giving this to me? Give it to Mandodari. She will like it. Her walk-in wardrobe doesn't have so many things. Give it to her. But Ravana was not listening. So, as to depict that she doesn't treat all this that well, she plucked a blade of grass and kept it. Trinam antarata kritva. She said, whatever you keep in front of me is equivalent to a blade of grass. So pul in Tamil means grass. So pul is something that is not to be worried about. Pullu parandu vittadu. Yara solvaanga. Pullu parandu. So you don't give that importance. But even to those materials which we in our material world deem unfit and unworthy of composing, Mahalakshmi through her grace adds auspiciousness to it. One such pul, grass, is Arham pul. So the same grass becomes venerated when it goes to the chest. How did it happen? Because Mahalakshmi's grace fell on that, it seems. Next the poet says, Kanye dugdho danvas tavakinam manye rupam mangalam mangalanam. What he says is, generally ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಹರಿದ್ರ ಕುಂಕುಮ ನೀವು ತಕೋಬೇಕು, ಮನೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಇವಾಗ ಸಂಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಹಬ್ಬ ಇದೆ, ಬರುವಾಗ ನವರಾತ್ರಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ, ಶರಣ್ ನವರಾತ್ರಿ, ತಾವು ಮನೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು, ಅರ್ಶಿನ ಕುಂಕುಮ ತಕೋಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ಹರಿದ್ರ ಕುಂಕುಮ. ಹರಿದ್ರ ಇಸ್ ಟರ್ಮರಿಕ್. Turmeric is called curcumin longasta, the binomial nomenclature. And it is said that it possesses a lot of properties that are antiseptic in nature. That is why on the day of marriage, the boy who is to get married sports vastram drenched in turmeric, because that gives him good skin, antiseptic. But there could be a small subtle difference. In Smarta Sampradayam, they don't wear turmeric drenched vastram. In Vaishnava Sampradayam they wear. They said, how do you give this example then? Even in the Smarta Sampradayam, that is the one that is to be worn, turmeric given. But traditionally we had 5-day marriages. On the second day itself, turmeric vastram is worn. Now that 5 has been further shrunk to 1.5 days. So in the Smartas they don't wear, but in Prachina Smartas they used to wear the turmeric drenched vastram. So turmeric is something that adds good health to you. Turmeric is yellow in color. How did that acquire that auspiciousness? Because it apes the color of Mahalakshmi's skin, that is like gold, it seems. The closest color that comes to gold is yellow. Since that yellow is found in turmeric, it is as auspicious as Mahalakshmi, says the poet. That is why, like the Arhampul, in Sanskritam, you know what is Arhampul called? Chappandi. Very good. Durvadalam. Durvadalam means Arhampul. That is why Bhuma Devi said, Durvadala Pratimaya Tavadeha Kantya. Like the Arhampul or Durvadalam, which is acquired auspiciousness. Like Karkaman Lungasta, which is turmeric, which has acquired auspiciousness. Like Mangala Devata, like Kuja, who has acquired auspiciousness. Hey Mahalakshmi, look at this lady and bless her. Praptam padam prathamata khaluyat prabhavat. Mangalya bhaji madhumathini manmathena maya pade tadiha mandara mikshanardham mandalasam cha makaralaya kanyakayaha. Now, he often repeats how her eye glances are. There is a beautiful shloka. Asamsaram vidadamakhilam vangmayam yadvibhutihi yadbhrubhanga kusumadharushaha kimkaro merudhanva Yasyam nityam nayana shatakai rekalaksho mahendraha padmetasam parinatirasau bhavaleshaitvadiyehi. Mahalakshmi looked at somebody, it seems. First lady whom she looked at was Saraswati. So Saraswati, with the grace of Mahalakshmi, became extremely adroit in speaking. Where did she go and sit? Saraswati went and sat in the tongue of Brahma. So Brahma became well spoken. So for Brahma to get well spoken, the cause was Saraswati, and Saraswati to have acquired those adroit traits of speaking and presenting well is because of Mahalakshmi's grace. Asamsaram vitatamakhilam vangmayam yad vibhutihi. Shiva was against Kama. He burnt Kamadeva, Kandarpa, into a heap of ashes. Kandarpana krodha dinda kantiredu kunda ugranu neene indiresha Sri Ramana namava chandadi pogaluvani ine chandra chuda Shiva Śaṅkarācārya Parvati Ramana Ninage Namo Namo Kandarpana Krodharinda Kanteredu. He turned Kama into a heap of ashes. Next minute he looked at Parvati and said, take half my body. If he has burnt Kama, how did he succumb to Parvati? The moment he looked at Parvati, he fell in love because she has received the grace of Mahalakshmi. Yadbhrubhanga kusuma dhanushaha. Kusuma dhanushaha means one who holds ikshu bow and the flower arrows, panchabanari. Kimkaro meru dhanva, the one who held Meru as his bow during Tripura Samharam, succumbed to the one who holds sugarcane as the bow, says Vedanta Deshika. So the grace of Mahalakshmi adds so much value. Next he says, Kamaprada Bhagavatopi Katakshamala. Kamaprada, why? The poet says that Mahalakshmi's nose, see this is all poetry, it is like the balance. Have you seen seesaw? So her brows are like the slide of the seesaw. As Manmatha jumps on her eyebrows, the nose, which is the balancing rod, balances that, it seems. Looking at Manmatha dance on her eyebrows, Narayana falls prey to her beauty, it seems. So this is Kamaprada Bhagavatopi. Then as the Acharya continues, he says, Vishwamarendra Padavibhrama Danadaksham Anandahetu Radhikam Muravidvishopi Ishan Nishidatu Mayi Kshanam Ikshanardham Indivarodara Sahodaram Indirayaha. Vishwamarendra. Once Durvasa was walking with the mala of Mahalakshmi. Why did he walk? He was given the mala by a Vidyadhara Stri. Vidyadhara Stri received mala, Mahalakshmi's mala as prasadam. She was walking. She did not know where to keep. The close by temple that she used to visit did not have lot of holes. Because holes in temples are meant to keep all the prasadam that we have, right? So she did not know where to keep. So she saw Durvasa Maharshi. She said, Durvasji, ye le lijiye. Durvasa too. Now he did not have a permanent residence. So he is undocumented. So he did not know where to keep the mala. So what he did was, he gave it to Indra. Now Indra said, I have to come all the way down for my elephant Airavat and take it. So that is when Indra said, Airavat, lelo. So he placed the mala on Airavata and Airavata placed it on its mastaka. That mala had lot of thorns, so it pricked its mastaka and the elephant felt very uneasy with the mala and it pushed the mala down and it trampled that mala. This was noticed by Durvasa and he said, when you have insulted the Mahalakshmi mala that I have given is to be underlined. I have given, you shall lose Śaṅkarācārya. So immediately his beautiful Nalli Rettapete Pattu became my normal, like my Veshti. His wife Shachi Devi's beautiful organza became 10-year-old Chungdi. So his Śaṅkarācārya, all his shares that he had invested in Silicon Valley Bank once was all gone. So everything was gone. Śaṅkarācārya had gone away. That is when Samudra Manthana happens and Mahalakshmi sends all this prayer. Vishwa Marendra Padabhibhrama Dana Daksham. So she gave dana of all this prosperity to Indra. Ananda Hetu. Hetu means Karanam. Ananda Hetu. Her grace is the reason for the happiness. Ananda Hetu Radhikam. Mura Vidri Shopi. Oh, you add so much grace to Murari, your husband. Ishan Nishidatu. Mahi Kshanam Ikshanardham. Now Mahalakshmi will ask, right, Shankara, how long should I keep looking at you? He said, Ikshanardham. In a second, you have to look at only half a second at me. That's all. I'll become immediately rich. You don't have to strain and keep looking at me. You will feel depressed. So, Ishan Nishidatu Maikshanam Ikshanardham. Then she asked, what makes you feel that my looks will help elevate your poverty status? Indivarodara Sahodaram Indirayaha. Because you are Indira, you are Mahalakshmi, you are the sovereign power, sister to Chandra. Indivarodara Sahodaram. So he says that you have all the greatness in you, for which there are a few comparisons made by other poets. He says, so these are all some subtle things that you'll have to appreciate in Sanskrita literature. Both Mahalakshmi and Chandra have Amrita in them. Amritam is called Sudha. Sudha means Amritam. That is why we pray to Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi emerged after the pot of ambrosia emerged. So she is called Sudha Madhumukhi. Why is Chandra believed to be possessing nectar? Because that is why on days of Purnima, people go around the hill, Girivalam, because they have to receive the nectarine rays of the moon falling on the mountain, reflecting on them. So it is believed that both the brother and sister possess Amritam. So they have medicinal qualities. Next, is she that great? When this is where one of the poets says, before Mahalakshmi emerged from the Samudra Manthana, we had the wish-yielding tree called Kalpaka-vriksham. We had the wish-yielding cow called as Kamadhenu. We had the wish-yielding gem called Chintamani. We had the Chandra who gives nectarine rays. We had the intoxicating liquid called Varuni. We had the that ambrosia which helps us live longer, not eternally. It's called Amritam. All this emerged. How did this emerge? It seems Samudra Raja possessed all of them. He squeezed Kamadhenu of her wish-yielding property, took that extract called wish-yielding property and kept it as bottle number 1. He squeezed Kalpaka Vriksham of its wish-yielding property, took that extract and kept it as bottle number 2. He squeezed the wish-yielding capacity of the priceless gem called Chintamani and took that as bottle number 3. He took the intoxicating nature of Varuni and kept it as bottle number 4. He took the nectarine rays and the grace of ambrosia Amritam and kept it as bottle number 5. He took the great flying ability of Uchai Shravas and kept it as bottle number 6. Then whatever was left over, molasses, he sent them out. When those things emerged out, people in this world who have not seen the extracting process thought that which has emerged is the original object. So we look at the moon, but Acharya says the moon's great quality has already been extracted. We look at Kamadhenu, that Kamadhenu's wish-yielding property has already been taken. So whatever we see outside as Kamadhenu Chintamani is not great. All these bottle 1 to bottle 6 were combined together and poured into Mahalakshmi. So Mahalakshmi is Kalpaka Vriksham, Mahalakshmi is Kamadhenu, Mahalakshmi is Chintamani. So he says, Angamte Mrudushita Mugdha Madurair Dareir Ganeir Gumbhataha Kshirabde Kimujishata Mupagata Manye Maharghas Tataha. So with that grace you have to look. Then Acharya says, Ishta Visishta Matayo Pidaya Yaya Dayadra Drishtya Trivishta Papadam Sulabham Labhante Drishti Prakrishta Kamalodara Diptirishtam Pushtim Krishishta Mama Pushkara Vishtaraya. She is known as the one who is very compassionate. What is compassion? Ardram. Ardram means compassion. That which has got extreme compassion towards us is Ardram. Since this Ardra Nakshatra born, Adi Shankara says that she has got Ardram. How does she have compassion? In Ramayana, there is a beautiful example. Vibhishana goes and seeks asylum in Rama. He says, my brother has been walking on the path of Adharma Rama. Please give me asylum. That is when Sugriva, Jambavan, Angada, they court-martial and test Vibhishana, and finally Rama says he has performed Sharanagati, so I accept him. Contrast this with another incident. In the Ramayana, there is a lady called Trijata who is believed to be the daughter of Vibhishana. She has a dream that Rama and Sita are safe and become the king and the queen, while Ravana is going to see death. She wakes up to that dreadful dream and she comes and informs Sita. Meanwhile, these Rakshasis who have been dispatched by Ravana come with cycle chain, soda bottle, 7 o'clock plate, and they all come and try to torment Sita. That is when Trijata says, do not torment her. In my dream, I saw that she is going to be extremely safe, while Ravana will be unsafe. If she is safe and she becomes the Pattamahishi to Rama, the way you are tormenting her, she will complain to him and he will make a Togayal out of you. Togayal ante chutney, pachadi. So he will make Togayal out of you. This is what Trijata said. You know what Sita said? In case what you have said turns true, that Rama wins and Ravana is defeated, do not worry about the safety of these Rakshasis. I will protect them. Vibhishana opened his mouth and said, give me asylum. There was testing of Vibhishana and finally Rama gave asylum. Here Trijata tells the Rakshasis, surrender to Sita. They don't. But Sita volunteers and says, if there is victory, I will give them asylum. There he asks. He's tested and he's given. Here they don't ask. Yet Mahalakshmi gives. So he has lesser compassion than hers. So she is called Ardra, the one who's compassionate. Matar Maithili, Rakshasis Twadidadaiva Ardra Paradastvaya, Rakshantya Pavanatmaja Lagutara Ramasya Goshti Krita, Kakam Tancha Vibhishanam Sharanamityukti Kshamau Rakshataha. Now, how do we realize her grace? What does she do? Here Acharya says in that shloka, look at the shloka, he says, Drishtihi Ishtavisishtamatayopi ayadayadra drishtya trivishtapapadam sulabham lavante drishtihi prakrishta kamalodara deeptirishtam pushtim. She is the one who gives us good health. How do we know that? Her brother was not a man of great character, Chandra. When we look at Chandra, there are two instances in our Puranas. One, the famous one, where he misbehaved with his guru's wife. Guru, who is his guru? Guru. Brihaspati. Brihaspati's wife is Tara. So he had a relationship with her. In Jyotishya Shastra, it is believed that if the man or woman in the Iha Janma, in this Janma, suffer from Dharma problems, dharmic problems, it could be psoriasis, it could be eczema, lot of other Dharma problems, Jyotishya Shastram says it is because of Guru Talpam. Guru Talpam means in the previous Janma or one of the previous Janmas, the person must have misbehaved with a very poor character with his older brother's wife or younger brother's wife or his guru's wife. It's called Guru Talpam in Jyotishya Shastra. So if you go to a proper Jyotishi who has not studied from Kora and has studied it traditionally, he will say Guru Talpam. That is why when you look at Chandra, its surface is filled with craters. That is why when you look from a telescope, though we call it completely white, it isn't. There will be craters that will look like acne on his face. Why has he developed that skin problem? Because he misbehaved with Guru Patni Tara. That is why Mudduswami Dikshita says Shashanka Guru Talpa Dosha Hara Darsha Pushkarini Tata Paschima Bhagam Sushobhitotpalavataka Stitam Sura Maya Madhu Makshikaradhitam Bhaktavatsalam Abhisheka Valliyutam. So Abhisheka Valliyutam, Mahalakshmi gives us good health. How do we know? She has blessed her brother. That is why we know. Then Acharya continues in his beautiful format, Dadyatayanubhavano Travina Buddharam. You remember at about 7:25 today, after speaking about Shri Suktam, Lakshmi Sahasranamam, Lakshmi Ashtotaram, Lakshmi Ashtakam, Lakshmi Shatakam, Lakshmi Sahasram, Shri Stuti, Kanakadhārā Stuti, Shri Stuti number 2, Shri Stavam, Shri Gunaratna Kosham, I told you about the circumstances that led to the birth of Kanakadhārā Stotram. After giving you that in introduction, I told you at about 7:25 today that verse number 1 to verse number 8 talks about Mahalakshmi's eyes. That portion is over. Verse number 9, Dadyatayanubhavano Dravina Buddhara Asmin Akinchana Vihangasi Shauvishanne Dushkarma Karma Mapaniya Chiraya Duram Narayana Pranayini Nayana Bhuvaha Dadyadayanupavano Dravinam Buddharam. See, there is a beautiful movie, the English movie called Serendipity. Have you seen it? You know what is serendipity? I'm not now forget the movie. What is serendipity? Wind, lucky discovery, windfall. Yeah. So that windfall, that lottery, that luckiness is serendipity. Correct? Here Acharya says, Dadya Dayanu Pavano Dravinam Buddharam. You should give me wealth like serendipity. That Pavano. Asmin Akinchana Vihanga Sishau Vishanne. What a great pada in Sanskritam. Asmin, because now, how do we eat? Certain paddhatis that we have developed is, certain people will say, morning, 8 o'clock, breakfast, 1 o'clock, lunch, 6:30, we just dine. But Ayurveda Shastra says, eat only when you are hungry. It doesn't say 8 a.m., 1 p.m. Then what will happen is, even if you are not hungry, you will eat. That is wrong, because absorption happens only when you are hungry. Taste is enhanced only when you are hungry. If you wish to remain a gourmet, have only when you are hungry. If you wish to stay a glutton, have it at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. So, absorption is when you are hungry. So, a person who is hungry will only know the taste and the value of food. When he tells, Adi Shankara looks at Mahalakshmi and says, your wealth that you come out of your grace should come on me like a windfall. Mahalakshmi asks, what if you are already rich? To a rich person, if you give more wealth, it will just be more wealth. It won't add any glory to him. That is when Adi Shankara says, know me, akinchana. I am helpless. I don't have wealth. So if you give me wealth, I will appreciate that. See, now what happens in marriages, because I give lectures in marriages, many of them will say, please sir, we have made without onion garlic, you should have it. 34 dishes on one leaf. In Brahma Srishti, for a normal, mundane human being with a Pancha Bhautika Sharira, to eat those 34 dishes is humanly impossible. Either the person wants to present everything he knows about eating, or the person wants to unnecessarily show off his wealth. See, how should breakfast be in an event? Either idli or dosa, vada, ennella different that is not the way, right? So then you won't know the value of food. That is when she says, Asmin akinchana vihanga. Now I am helpless. This is where Adi Shankara's Shruti Smriti Purana Nam comes into picture. Why? Vihanga shishau vishanne. Like the little bird that has been abandoned by its parents, the mother bird and the father bird, I am helpless. He says, can anyone tell me what incident he is describing here? He says, Shakuntala. So in Shakuntala, it's a good thing because we hear that Vishwamitra and Menaka had a putri. She abandoned, he abandoned. Then the girl was left to Mother Nature, the flora and fauna to protect. Shakunta Pakshi extended their wings. Then they protected her from the scorching rays of the sun and the torrential rainfall. Protected by Shakunta Pakshi, she is called Shakuntala. Who better than me about to talk about Shakuntala? Only I have to talk. Dushyanta only can talk. Now, but here the point is, Asmin akinchana vihanga shishau vishanne. The little bird has been left by the mother and father. See, look at Adi Shankara's depth. In Sri Mahabharatam, if you note this carefully, see, again I'm telling you, the topics that I've chosen for the 4 days are decent topics. Today is Kanakadhārā, tomorrow is again Acharya's great composition called Mohamudgaram Bhajagovindam. 3rd day is from Mahabharata, a very interesting character called Draupadi, and 4th day Krishna. 3rd day is Krishna, Draupadi. 4th day is Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. So we have 4 days. 2 days for Acharya, 2 days for Bhagavan and his friend. All 4 days will be interesting as long as you think this is an informative lecture. Generally, my lectures will go like a story, but since we are taking Acharya's composition, I have to give the necessary depth. In Sri Mahabharatam, in the Sabha Parva, in Adi Parva, a land which was not so fertile, infested with snakes and thorns called Khandava Vanam was given to the Pandavas. They felt very dejected. Iske saath hum kya kar sakte hain bolo kanha. That is when Krishna said, learn to live happily with what you have. With this land we will make the best use. And Krishna and Arjuna go on a spree burning the forests. While they burned, there was a bird family, says Adi Parva. There was a rishi called Mandapala. This Mandapala Maharishi was told by his forefathers that you cannot keep on engaging in austerities, you will have to also create progeny for the successive generations, so you marry. This Mandapala thought, if I continue being a human, then I should be born, then I will grow up, study, at one particular age I will get married, then they will turn pregnant, 9 months of pregnancy, it is a long process. So he prayed to Bhagavan that he should be converted into a bird. Because marriage process, birthing process becomes easier. So when his forefathers have said, you have to produce children, he chose the birds. They are oviparous in nature because birds give rise to eggs. Eggs when incubated at a certain temperature at the right time turn into chicks. So this this Mandapala Maharshi became a Sharngika bird. The Sharngika bird married a female bird called Jarita. Remember all these names. Now this mother bird and female, father bird and mother bird produced 4 children, akin to 4 Veda reciting children. Their names were Jaritari, Sarisrika, Stambhamitraha, Dronaha. Now the mother and father, after producing these 4 chicks, left them. And Jarita and this Sharngika went on a world tour. Some 5 days, 4 nights, 999 only. They went. That is when they received a message stating that Khandava Vanam is under fire. Their children were there, right? So, what will Mandapala do? Mandapala prayed to Agni, please save my children. On the other hand, these 4 birds prayed to Agni stating that my father and mother have left us, we are helpless. Hey Agni, protect us. Who is Agni? Agni is called Jata Vedaha. Jadeti Vedaha, Jata Vedaha. That is why in Mahanarayana Upanishad you get a mantra Jata Vedase. We say, right? So the first mantra is not for Durga. Remember, in Durga Suktam, Jata Vedase Sunavama. Sunavama means you have to squeeze the Soma Lata and get the juice. Is it boring? So, in the yajna process, see, I don't know how many of you, I'm sure the elderly folks will know. In traditional households, they don't like sipping water. Shastram does not encourage sipping. Anacharam. But in yajna, there is one place where you can sip. Somarasam alone you can sip. That process is called Sunavama. Sunavama means you have to squeeze and you have to take the juice. So you're looking at fire and saying, Jata Vedase Sunavama Mato Mamara Yatorida Sanatpadari Durgani Vishwa. Durga here means fortress, protection. Now who will protect us? Then you say Tam Agnivarnam Tapasam Jvalantim Vajrotsava Karmaphaleshu Jushtam Durgam Devi Gum Sharanamaham Prapadye Sutarasitarase Namaha. Then you mention Durga Devi here, and then her Gayatri comes Katyayanaaya Vidmahe. Katyayana Gotrodbhava is the mantra. So this Agni, now come back to the story. The 4 chicks which were deserted by the mother and father prayed to Agni. Who is Agni? In Shastram there is a line. Arogyam Bhaskarādichet Shriyam Ichet Hutashanāt. If you desire good wealth in your life, good house, good car, Tesla S model, S model, you want S model, whatever, you are in the land of automobile industry, so whatever you want, Ford, whatever car, house you want to desire. Shastram says you have to perform yajna. In yajna, you have to venerate Agni. Agni is the one who bestows you material wealth. Who is Agni? Mahalakshmi. Shriyam Ichet Hutashanāt. So, these 4 chicks which were deserted by the mother and father, caught in the fire, prayed to fire. Who is Mahalakshmi to protect them? So, we are also like that Mahalakshmi, who are like the little birds bereft of the mother and father, protect us. That is why Adi Shankara states here, Asmin Akinchana Vihanga Shishau. Vihanga Shishau means the little one to a bird. So that is why he takes the small portion of Adi Parva of Mahabharata and expands it here. That is why we say Shruti Smriti Purananam. So, Asmin Nakinchana Vihanga Sishau Vishanne Dushkarma Dharma Vapaniya Chiraya Duram Narayana Pranayini Nayanam Vaha. Hey Narayana Pranayini, you are with Narayana. Now, then she asked very quickly, Adi Shankara, Detroit people have to go home. You have just finished 9 shlokas. What about the remaining shlokas? I will make it fast, Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi, you know that there is a 2x speed. 1.5, 2x. That I will do. Gir Devadeti, because the first few shlokas will always be a struggle because they are deep. Now it is Stuti. Gir Devadeti Garudadhvaja Sundareti. Gir Devadeti, the one who bestows good speech. You think of Mahalakshmi and Kanakadhārā and go give your presentation to your client, he will buy. Gir Devadeti, she gives good speech. Garudadhvaja Sundareti. What is the proof? She adds glory to the one whose flag has the motive of Garuda. Garudadhvaja Sundareti. What does she give us? Good food. Whether the prices go up or low, we will get good food. Śaṅkarācārya, the one who gives good dhanadhanyam is called Śaṅkarācārya. Śaṅkarācārya. Where does she say her grace fall? Her grace falls on the one who is the beloved of the one who sports Chandra in his Jatakalapam. Shashi Shekhara Vallabheti. What does she do? Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Kelishu Samsthitaya. It seems, see, when we think, oh, she creates, sustains, and is involved in dissolution, she does it like a play. Vilayatudayar says Kamban. She does it like that. Srishti, ho gaya bas. Sthiti, protect kiya na. Samharam, now let there be deluge. That's all. She does it like a play. She is not spending her time and energy. Srishti. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Kelishu Samsthitaya. Tasyai, to that Mahalakshmi, Namastribhuvaneka Gurostarunyai. The one who is the young wife to the Guru. Who is, what does Guru mean? Sir, idu kuda nimge gottilla, nimna karibittidare SVBF alli ಏನು ಹಣೆ ಬರ ನೋಡಿ ನಮಗೆ. What does Guru mean? Guru means Acharya, right? Guru also means father. Remember this. Guru means father. Guru also means teacher. So the one who is the father of the universe, who is Narayana. Now you may wonder, how do we know Narayana is the father? We can go through Amar Chitrakatha. In Amar Chitrakatha, what does the moon refer to as? Chanda Mama, correct? Ambuli Mama. In Tamil or any language, if you construe the meaning of the word Mama in the right fashion, what does Mama mean? Mother's brother. So if Chandra is our Mama, the one who is born alongside her will be the mother. Then Mahalakshmi is the mother. If she is the mother, then he is the father. So what is the father? Guru. Gurostarunyai. Of which world? He says Tribhuvanaika Gurostarunyai. So she is the young wife of the father who has fathered all the three worlds. Now, where is she seen in the Vedas? Shruti. Shrutyai namostu Shubha Karma Phala Prasutyai. The one who bestows good phalam for our listening to the Vedas. Ratyai. She is the Rati. Namostu Ramaniya Gunarnavayai. See, in Sanatana Dharma, it is not said that you have to become a sannyasi permanently. You have to lead a nice family life. For family life, what do you need? Dhanam. What do you need? Good children. Good is very important. So good children we need. So for that, what should we do? That is why Sahasranama we say, Dharmarthi prapnuyat dharmam. You aspire for dharmam, you get dharmam. Artharthi cha arthamapniyat. You desire good artham, material, you will get material. Kamana vapniyat kami. You want good saumanasyam between the husband and wife. Recite Vishnu Sahasranama. You want moksham, recite. So dharma, artha, kama, moksham you get. Ratyai namostu ramaniya gunarnavayai. Shakyai namostu shatapatra niketanayai. Shatapatram. A beautiful lotus that has got over 100 petals, in the middle of which is Mahalakshmi is seated, is so beautiful to look at. Pushtyai namostu Purushottama Vallabhayai. Purushottama Vallabha means the one who enhances the already existing greatness of Purushottama Narayana. Namostu Nalika Nibhananayai. The one whose face is akin to lotus. How are her hands? Padmakara. What does she have in the lotus-like hands? Lotus. Where does she sit? On lotus. How is her face? Lotus. How is her feet? Lotus. So, she is fully of lotus. See, if I speak in India, I will surely get one Rajya Sabha seat. Talking only about lotus. So, Namostu Nadika Nibhananayai. She has got lotus-like face. You know, when Kalidasa lived, one person asked, it is again in the Karna Parampara we ask, lotus is beautiful. A person's face is generally compared to a newly blossomed lotus. But is a lotus born within a lotus? Somebody asked Kalidasa. Kalidasa said, yes, I have seen a beautiful lady in our city. Her eyes are akin to lotus and so is her face. So the eyes are within the face. If the face is lotus and the eye is the lotus is born within the lotus. So Mahalakshmi's eyes are like the lotus petals. So her eyes are like the lotus. Her face is like the lotus. Her hands are like the lotus. She sports the lotus, sits on a lotus. How does she smell? Like a lotus. Padma Gandhinyai. Who is she at the end of the day? Padmini. Because in Śaṅkarācārya, it is said that the highest grade in the most beautiful women are women who have a natural fragrance in them. They don't have to apply anything. They are naturally fragrant. You must have known of a great contest held in Thiruvilayadal Puranam, Shivalila Arnavam. One king of the Pandya Desha, in those days kings had so much of time. So he noticed his wife. So the king was very free. He noticed his wife, the Pandya Desha's queen, Ragni. Remember, in Sanskritam there is no Rani. Ragni. Ragni is the word for queen. In Hindi it is Rani. In Sanskritam there is no Rani. It's Ragni. That is why we say Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, queen. So this queen of Pandya Desham had good hair bath that day. And then she was out and she was drying it. As she was drying her hair, the king who was walking past that corridor noticed a swarm of bees go around that hair. Then he went and asked, what did you apply today? Is it shea butter? Or tea tree oil? She said, I don't use such products. We got turmeric, nahi cosmetic. So I don't use cosmetics. That is when he wondered, are you sure Pandya Rani? Bolo? Sollu? Then she said, no, I use nahi karti. I am sure, extremely confident. Then he understood that her hair must be naturally fragrant. But he wanted to get this cleared. So he announced a contest. Women's hair, do they smell naturally? Are they fragrant? Or do they need to apply cosmetics? Then there was a local poet called Nagesh. He couldn't solve it. Then Shiva came and solved it. So then Shiva said that women's hair is naturally fragrant. But there was an opposition leader there. What was his name? Nakira. He said, Nahi. Women have to apply Gandhavastu to have their hair fragrant. Then Shiva appeared and he said, Aisa nahi ho sakta. Why? Because he knows in their house they don't buy. So he knows Parvati's hair is naturally fragrant. Then he turned him into a heap of ashes and then blessed Daruni. As I speak, you must have had beautiful scenes in front of you. Now, women who are naturally fragrant, without a L'Oreal, without a Lakme, are referred to as Padmini in Sanskrit. Padmini, Padmagandhini. So these are the names given. So Namostu Nalika Nibhananaye, the one who is associated with everything that is lotus. Namostu Dugdhodadhi Janmabhumyai, the one who arose from the Milky Ocean. Namostu Somamrita Sodarayai, the one who is the sister to the one who gives the ambrosia called Chandra. Somamrita Sodarayai. Namostu. Finally she went and sat on Vishnu's chest. Narayana Vallabhayai. Namostu. Where does she sit? Hemambuja Pitikayai. She sits in a throne that is gilded in gold. Hema means gold. Any Hema here? So it's a beautiful name of Mahalakshmi which means gold. Mami get an ear. Namostu Hemambuja Pitikayai. Where does she rule? Sitting on this golden throne. Remember, all this is depictive of earth. Where do we get gold from? KGF. Right? That gives us yash. Right? So our fame comes from Kolar gold mines. Kolar gold mine, you have to mine earth. Who is earth? Bhumi. Bhumandala Naikayai. So first line is gold. Hemambuja Pitikayi. Where does that gold come from? Bhumandala Naikayai. Next, Namostu Devadi Dayaparayai. The one who was able to shower heaps of grace on the celestials to make who they are. Dayaparayai. Finally, who is she? Namostu Śaṅkarācārya Vallabhayai. Śaṅga is the name of Narayana's bow. Narayana's chakra is called Shankham Panchajanya. Sword. Very good. Nandakam. Bhagavan's Gada. Kaumodaki. Bhagavan's bow. Śaṅga. We often confuse. We think it is Saranga. Saranga is the wrong word. In Kumbhakonam they write Sarangapani. It is wrong. It is Śaṅgapani. Saranga means deer. Not of deer, right? That is Saranga. The other meaning of Saranga is elephant. Very good. Saranga means elephant. Who is the king of elephants? Gajendra. So if Saranga is elephant, so Gajendra can also be called? Stand up on the bench. Simple question. You see, you have all cleared cat, bat, mat and all. Now answer this question. If Gaja, okay, is Saranga, so Gajendra is? That is why Gajendra Varada is Sarangendra Varada. Anga Janakade Vabrindavana Sarangendra Varada Ramanta Ranga Shyamalanga Vihanga Turanga Sadaya Panga Satsangaranga Pura Vihara Jaya Kodalda Ramavatara Raghuvira Shri Ranga. There Saranga is elephant, Saranga is deer, Śaṅga is the bow. Sharngam Udaita Saramalai pole, says Andal. When rain falls on earth, it should appear like a heap of arrows have been shot from his bow called Sharanga. Sharngam Udaita Saramalai pole. What Andal says is, how should rain come? The sound of the thunder should be akin to the sound of the conch called Panchajanya. The lightning that we see in the skies should be akin to the sparks that come out of his chakra. When the rain-bearing clouds that are akin to Bhagavan's complexion precipitate, the rainfall should be like the arrows that come out of his Sharanga. Āழிமழைக்கு அண்ணா ஒன்று நீ கைகரவேல் ஆழியுள் புக்கு முகர்ந்து கொடாய் தேரி ஊழி முதல்வன் உருவம் போல் மை கருத்து. His body should be dark. பாழி அம்தோளுடைய பற்பனாபன் கையில் ஆழி. ஆழி means chakram. ஆழி போல் மின்னி. Chakra akin lightning. ஆழி போல் மின்னி. வலம்புரி போல் நின்று அதிர்ந்து thunder. தாழாதே சார்ங்கம் உதைத்த சரமழை போல். Rain should come like the arrows of Sharanga. So she talks about precipitation cycle. Now, Sharanga is the bow. He holds the bow. So he is called Sharngadhanva or Sharngi. How do we know that? Devaki Nandana Srashta Kshiti Shappapanashanaha Shankabrin Nandaki Chakri Sharngadhanva. He holds Sharanga, right? So he holds Sharanga. He is Sharngadhanva. Now, who is she? The Vallabha. the beloved of Shargadalva, Namostu Sharngayudha Vallabhaye. Where is she, the Sharngayudha Vallabha? Adi Shankara from Kerala has gone to Kumbhakonam. In Kumbhakonam, the presiding devata is called Sharngapani. Who is Mahalakshmi there? Komalavalli. There is a beautiful Churnika. Jaya Jaya Divya Dindi Varachaya Kulankashasyanti Kalindika Manda Manda Nirodanchi Vichi Samichina Veni Bhavat Kesha Pashatiti Bhuta Patodare Pita Vasodare Bimba Shonadare Jumba Mana Mrita Bhishu Bimba Yutenashu Samprapta Saundarya Bhaktāmṛtam Vinde Daraspanda Pakshvadvayi Paksha Samlaksha Chakshurmilinde Sudha Sadru Yuggat Chilodit Marande Giram Dehi Devidi Tumtwam Viminde Radhaspardhi Kunderu Rajjantan Mukunde Sharat Parva Chandra Sharat Chandrika Karva Garvaika Sarvankashaspara Rochis Puran Mandahase Lasat Chandrahase Taniyo Natabhru Yugi Yopimaniya Damodamaneshu Chanchatcharase Dayasara Saro Lasat Dridvilase Tado Bhakti Bhajam Kritam Hinnurase Kritam Hinorarase Manimandara Prolasat Kundale Tachitograbha Bhanu Mandale Kampu Dushprapa Kanta Bhaya Lankrite Kamsajit Sakrite Kanja Garbhastite Kumbhi Kumbha Pratidvanga Bakshoruhe Bahu Dambola Satkalpakano Kaheshata Kumbhadyude Sadhu Kumbhastute He Saraswat Sute Yogi Hridya Durgrakakara Madhye Mahayogi Madhye Shayadisha Bhaksha Stalavasa Shile Kilashasya Lire Kala Pushkale Manjushinjana Manjira Chanchatpade Kincha Kanchatpade Sarva Sampat Prade. So she is called Komadamba. So he says Namostu Sharngayudha Vallabhaye. Who is she? She is the daughter of Bhrigu. You remember? 32 minutes back Bhargava Nandanaye I said Namostu Devyai Bhrigu Nandanaye. Hey Mahalakshmi, I celebrate you as the daughter of Bhrigu. Namostu Vishnor Urasi Sthitayai, the one who is seated on the chest of Vishnu. Namostu Lakshmi Kamalalayaye. See, this is a beautiful Vishayam. Lakshmi she is called. Why? She is the Lakshanam for Narayana. In Bharatadesham, I can't speak about here. In Bharatadesham, when we enter the airport, there will be security personnel outside who will check our identity card. In Bharatadesham, we have one card called Aadhar card. That is our Aadharam for the Jivatma. The Jivatma is in the Shariram, there will be Aadhar card. We have to show that Aadhar card, the security person will be confused because our face on the Aadhar card will never be the same as what we are now. Our Papa, so then we have to say, no sir, that day lighting was not good. That is why I seem like a Mula Murti. So he will keep checking. Imagine in that line of Indian citizens, Bhagavan is also standing. He doesn't have an Aadhar card, but he has to show, he has to enter. He has to enter the airport. How will he enter? Because there is a flight called Garuda Indonesia. So Bhagavan can take that flight. So it is always better now, given the recent incidents, it's better to take Bhagavan with us in the flight. Either it will reach Bhumi or Vaikuntham, we don't know. So now Bhagavan joins us. Now he has to present before the security person that I am an authentic person, my name is Narayan. He has to say that, right? How will he say that? So he will show his chest. Mahalakshmi is seated. Secure. Acha, Lakshmi ke husband ho, ajao. Since she is the Lakshanam for Narayana, she is called Lakshmi. Lakshmi means she is the identity for Narayana. See, I have told this in many of my lectures. When we take people on yatras, towards the end I'll talk about my yatra. There are 2 more yatras coming up. In yatras, when we take, invariably in any group, we will see 4 Srinivasans. 4 Srinivasans. So, how will we differentiate? But their wives' names will be different. Maitri, Janaki, Vaidehi, Adaru. So, if we say Srinivasan, Mama, no, but he will not reply. Maithili's husband, he will come. Because he has understood his identity and very existence is because of Maithili. So that Maithili is the Lakshanam for him. So that is why it says, Namostu Lakshmi Kamalalayaye. She sits in Kamalalayam. You know, in Tiruvarur, the very tank itself is called Kamalalayam. Kamalapura Sadanam Mrudugadanam Kamaniya Radanam Kamalavadanam Kamalabam Bhajare Namostu Lakshmi Kamalalayai. Who are you, the beloved of? Namostu Damodara Vallabhayai. What is Udaram? Abdomen. It's called Udaram. Dama means rope. So since Yashoda tied Krishna to the mortar with the help of a rope, and he succumbed to that motherly affection and was subservient to it, he is called Damodara. Dama around the Udara. Where does Mahalakshmi come there? The commentator says, when she wanted to tie him, she couldn't. Then Krishna said, give it to me. I will tie it on my own. Kanninun siruthambinal kattunna panniya. He facilitated the tying process. Now Krishna started consuming the butter which was found in that very crevice of that mortar. When you consume something over and beyond your body's strength and capacity, your stomach will expand. So the rope that was tied around his abdominal region, as he started eating, started rolling itself to the chest. So in the chest is Mahalakshmi, right? The commentator writes, along with her son, she ended up tying her daughter-in-law as well. So that Mahalakshmi, she tied her daughter-in-law. See, Tulsi, she will know in Kyunki Sasmi Bhahuti. She's coming soon. Namostu Damodara Vallabhayai. Why does he call Mahalakshmi with Damodara? Because she was tied there. Damodara Vallabhayai. Next. Namostu Kantei Kamale Kshanayai. You are the beloved of Narayana. How are your eyes? Like the petals of a lotus. Namostu Bhutyai Bhuvana Prasutyai. You are the one who bestows prosperity on this bhumi. Namostu Devadi Bhirarchitayai. The Devas, to seek more prosperity, keep worshipping you. Namostu Nandatmaja Vallabhayai. You are the beloved of the son of Nanda. Nandagopan Kumaran Yerarnda Kanni Yashoda Idam Shingam. So he says, Namostu Nandatmaja Vallabhayai. What do? You give us prosperity. Sampatkarani. You give joy to all senses. Why? Because when you get Mahalakshmi's prasadam, I generally tell, Tirupati is famous for laddu. I like Tiruchanur laddu more than Tirupati laddu. I'll tell you why. In Tirupati laddu, the bundis are taken and they are put together. It will have one candy, it will have one clove, it will have one cardamom. Why the Martin there? You have to have a toothpick in your hand. Whereas the Tiruchanur Padmavati laddu, the bundis are taken, crushed and then put together. It won't give us enough work for the teeth also. So there is no cardamom. So her laddu is more accessible like the mother's. So Namostu Sampatkarani Sakala Indriya. Sakala Indriya, when you take that laddu and eat, it gives good happiness to your tongue. That smell, I don't know if you've noticed in Tirumala or Tiruchanur, they make it out of ghee, right? When you pass through that place itself, you can smell ghee. And you see that ghee. So it gives happiness to the nose. The tulasi gives happiness to the nose. It gives happiness, the laddu gives happiness to the tongue. When you look at Padmavati, you see her beautiful form, it gives happiness to the eyes. When you listen to Kanakadhārā Stotram, it gives happiness to the ears. When you touch and feel her sari, see in Mahalakshmi temples, whatever she wears is given to the devotees to buy and take it. Whatever has touched her, touches us. So skin, ears, nose, eyes, all these indriyas get joy through Mahalakshmi. Sampatkarani, Sakala Indriya Nandanani. She gives happiness. What does she give us? Good status. Samrajyadani Vibhavani. Who is she? The one who has got eyes like the petals of a lotus. Saroru Hakshi. What do I do to her? I pay my obeisance. Tvadvandanani. What does she do if I pay obeisance? She removes all the papas. Durita Haranodvitani. Who is she? My mother. Mameva Mataranisham Kalayantu Manye. What does she do? Now Adi Shankara tells with that poor lady in the front, Yatkataksha Samupasana Vidhi. Whoever is a recipient of her graceful, merciful grace, Sevakasya Sakalartha Sampadaha, who vows to be subservient and a kinkara to that universal mother, Santanoti Vachananga Manasaihi, the one who has vowed to think, speak and act in unison. Solradhadan seiven. Seiradhadan solven. That is the one Talaivar says. Santanoti Vachana Anga Manasaihi. Vachanam is what you speak. Anga, body. Manasaihi is what you think. You think, speak and act in unison. Vachananga Manasaihi. To such people, Tvam Murari. Hey Mata, the one who has impressed Murari, Hridayeshwarim Bhaje. When you have impressed him, why will you not impress us? Sarasija Nilaye, the one who seats in the lotus. Saroja Haste, the one who carries the lotus. Dhavalatamam, Dhavalam means white. Dhavalatamam Shuka Gandhamalya Shobhe. She sports dress in white. Sir, ये थोड़ा तो confusion है. White पहन सकते हैं क्या? Correct? Is my question right? He says Dhavalatamam Shuka Gandhamalya Shobhe. Two instances I'll tell you. In Srimad Ramayanam, in Sundarakandam, Vibhishana Putri Trijata has a swapna. She narrates that swapna to Sita. That time she says, Swapne Chadyamaya Drishta Sita Shuklambarāvrita. I saw Sita happily decked in white silk. Sundarakandam. In Adi Parva of Mahabharata, when Mahalakshmi emerges from Samudra, she is called Shvetambarāvrita, white silk. But our elders have made it a point that if you buy white, don't buy it pure white, have a little combination. It will have that red border. If you go to the state of West Bengal, they are very, very fond of a white cotton sari. It's called the Dhaka silk. Right? It will have a red border. So there should be another color. So white is permitted. So do not think white is not allowed. In fact, brahmacharis or grihasthas should wear only white vastram. Of course, in some paddhatis of Karnataka, they wear a few other colors as well. But prachina paddhati is white. We have to sport white. So he says, Dhavalatamam Shuka Gandhamalya Shobhe. The one who sports white silk with a beautiful flower garland that emanates good fragrance. Bhagavati, the one who has got all six qualities. Jnanabala Aishwarya Virya Shakti Tejas. Harivallabhe, who has impressed the mind and the heart of Hari. Manognye, in my mind. Tribhuvana Bhuti Karif Prasita Mahyam. Oh, the one who rules the entire world, why don't you bless this poor lady who's standing in front of me? She has been standing for the last 1 hour 45 minutes. That lady. Dighasti vihi kanaka kumbha mukha vasrishta swarvahini vimala charu jala plutangi pratarnamani jagatam janani masesha lokadinatha grihini amritadhiputri dighasti vihi. The different hastas. If you go to Mahabalipuram of the 7th century, you will see a Gajalakshmi in a cave. Beautiful Gajalakshmi, both her legs extended. You should see that Gajalakshmi of Mahabalipuram. You'll be amazed. You can put it on Google also and see as I explain. Mahabalipuram, Gajalakshmi. You'll get one panel. Can you see it? See, you have to appreciate architecture. Mahabalipuram so, you have to. Now, can you see that Mahabalipuram Mahalakshmi? How's the speed? Speed test good. 28 Mbps. Now you have seen Mahabalipuram Gajalakshmi. 2 legs are extended. It's all stone sculpture, monolith. You will see gajas not in the standard position. One gaja will be pouring water on her. The other gaja will be turning towards a lady taking the kalasham from her. See, generally in Abhishekam, some person will keep supplying water. The other one has to take the kalasham. This is a beautiful poetry in motion. It is not the typical Gajalakshmi. Gajalakshmi will be seated with her legs extended. The elephants are in conversation with the women who are assisting in bringing the pots filled with water. So one elephant pours while the other elephant takes from that lady. This is a 7th, 8th century panel, 1300 years back, done in Mahabalipuram. Dig hasti bihi. These are the hastis, means elephant. Kanaka kumbha, not ordinary pot, golden pot. Kanaka kumbha mukhavasrishta. Swarvahini vimalacharu jalaplutangi. They don't drench her with the waters of normal Ganga, Yamuna, Mississippi, Colorado. So he says Swarvahini, from the waters of Ganga that flows in Devaloka. Pratar namami. To that Mahalakshmi, when I wake up in the morning, who's poured with the divine waters of Ganga from the golden pitchers, to that particular Mahalakshmi, I prostrate. Pratar namami jagatam. Who is she? She is the queen of all. Queen of all? We know one queen with the Kohinoor diamond in UK. Even for that queen, she is the queen. Asesha Jagat Jananeem Asesha. Who is she? Lokadhinata Grihini. She is the wife of Lokadhinata. Who is she? The daughter of Ocean King. Amritabhiputrin. Next, last two stutis, stotras of Palashruti. Kamale Kamalaksha Vallabhe Tvam Karuna Puratarangidair Apangaihi. You remember the first 8 shlokas spoke about her eye glances. Again he says Apangaihi Avalokayamam Akinchananam. You remember that word where he said, I am the helpless child like the bird to my parents who have deserted me. He brings that again. Karuna Puratarangidair Apangaihi Avalokayamam Akinchananam. Helpless I am. Prathamam. Now Mahalakshmi asked, see, people say I'm quite rich, Adi Shankara. I would like to give a lot of it in philanthropy. So can you tell me one person who is poor enough? He says, Prathamam Patram. First recipient of this aid should be me. Prathamam Patram Akritrimam Dayayaha. So he says, I am shameless. She says, are you? Mata, didn't you say you were shameless? No, Mahalakshmi said she was shameless. In Bhagavatam, when she wrote a 7-versed poem to Krishna, asking him to come and marry her because the engagement was over with Shishupala. She wanted the marriage with Krishna. So she wrote a letter. That's a beautiful work called as Rukmini Sandesham. So she says, Shrutva Gunan Bhuvana Sundara Shrinvatante Nirvishya Karna Vivaraihi Haratonga Trapam. Rupam Drisham Drishimatam. Krishna, when I think of your beautiful form, I get fever. See, in love, when you're separated, you get one fever. That is not exactly this viral fever. That is a different fever. Kadal virus. So, you get that fever. So she says, I've got that Kadal fever. Generally, she also says, see, Rukmini's words are, generally what is expected, that the man will call the lady, maybe by the riverfront, and as they are speaking, she notices something in the coffee cup, and that's a beautiful ring. And then he opens, and he goes on his knees, and then he says, take it, and she knows she has selected the ring. Yet, she has to, feel that element of surprise, and she said, oh, wow, where did the solitaire come from? And as she's quite amazed at the solitaire, there'll be people who'll be playing the violin from the piano. So that's how love proposals happen, right? The woman expects the man to go on the knees. Now Rukmini says, look at me. I am writing this love letter to you. Krishna, come and marry me. People think, why do you do that? That time she says, because I'm so much in love with you that I don't mind being shameless. Apatrapam means shameless. She says, I am shameless. Now, when Mahalakshmi looked at Śaṅkarā and said, who will receive my aid? He said, me. I am shameless, I will receive. How do you call yourself shameless? I am your son. You called yourself shameless, right? I am also shameless. Prathamam Patram Akritrimam Dayayaha. Who reads this? What will they get on the first day in Detroit? Adi Shankara asks for us. Stuvanti ye stuti bhirami bhiranvaham. Whoever reads this stotra between 7 and 9:40. Traimayim tribhuvana mataram ramam. They will receive incessant grace in installments on day 2, 3 and 4. They have to come. Gunadhika. What should they additionally do? They should tell a few other astikas. Patient here paravar. Aanalo vaanguva. He will not drink water in the middle also. So bring them. Tomorrow it will be Bhaja Govindam. The day after it will be Draupadi. The next day it will be Bhagavad Gita. So I speak. Is my English comprehensible? So bring them. Okay. So bring Tamil speaking, Malayalam speaking, Konkani speaking, Tulu speaking, Kannada speaking, Telugu speaking, Odia speaking, Marathi speaking, Sindhi speaking, Gujju speaking, Hindi speaking, Astikas. English speaking, bring them also. So, Stuvanti ye stuti bhirami bhiranvaham. Whoever reads this, Trayimayi. Trayimayi means the one who is the embodiment of 3 Vedas. Sir, you are very confusing. Kitna Ved hai? 4 Ved. Ye kya 3 ho gaya? See, this is a beautiful Vishayam. In Vedas, you have 2 formats. One is prose, the other is poetry. Gadyam, Padyam. Gadyam means prose. Padyam means poetry. Yajurveda is full of prose. Yajurveda is prose. Poetry is Rigveda. Rik. It is called Rik. This Sri Suktam is from Rigveda. It is poetry. Poetry is generally worthy of singing. You get the talam for poetry. Prose you cannot say. Long ago in na na na. It won't come to a talam. If you want beats of 8, you have to get the correct number of letters. So poetry is worthy of to be sung. That is why Rigvedam, which is poetry, when sung becomes Samavedam. Rigveda and Samaveda are very close, 90% match. Same thing will be there, but it will be sung. It is called Samam, Samagayan Naste. In a yajna, the person who sings is called Udgata. So Udgata sings. So prose is Yajurveda. Poetry is? Poetry plus music is? There are only 3. Excerpts of these first 3 Vedas when they come together becomes the 4th called Atharvana. So in Prachina it was only Veda Trayi. Since Mahalakshmi is celebrated in Rigveda, she will be celebrated in Sama. The same Mahalakshmi is celebrated in the Uttaranuvaka. Hrischate Lakshmischa Patnyau. So you get Rig, Yaju, Sama. What is 3? Trayimayim. That is why he says Trayimayim. Tribhuvana Mataram Ramam. You are the one who is found in the 3 Vedas, and you are the one who is responsible for the functioning of the 3 types of worlds. Upper worlds, earth and nether world. Atala, Sutala, Vitala, Rasa, Atala, Tala, Atala, Mahatala, Patala is one set. Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam, 6 above. The one between the 6 and the 7 is this one called Bhuhu. So 1, 2, 3. So Tribhuvana Mataram Ramam. Gunadhika, the one whose embodiment of qualities. Guru Tara Bhagya Bhaginaha, the one who decides good destiny for us. Bhavantite, whoever listens or read this. Bhuvi Buddha Bhavitashayaha, they will be associated only with learned people. So come tomorrow. Bhuvi Buddha Bhavidhashayaha. Can we spend 4 minutes in reciting Kanakadhārā Stuti? Is that possible? Together we will recite. Let me not sing. Sumaradam paad rahe. Shruti Smriti Purana Ramalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Śaṅkaram Loka Śaṅkaram Angam Harehe Puraka Bhushanam Ashrayanti Brihangane Mukula Bharanam Tamalam Angi Krita Khila Vibhuti Rapanga Leela माङ्गल्यदास्तु मम मङ्गलदेवतायाः मुग्धा मुहुर्विदधतीव धने मुरारेः प्रेमत्रपा प्रणिहितानि गतागतानि मालादृशोर्मधुकरीव महोत्पलेया सा मे श्रियं दिशतु सागरसम्भवायाः आमीलिताक्षमधिगम्य मुदा मुकुन्दम् आनन्दकन्दमनिमेषमनङ्गतन्त्रम् आकेकरस्थितिकनीनिकपक्ष्मनेत्रम् भूत्यै भवेन्मम भुजङ्गशयाङ्गनायाः बाह्वन्तरे मधुचितश्रुतकौस्तुभेया हारावलीव हरिनीलमयी विभाति कामप्रदा भगवतोऽपि कटाक्षमाला कल्याणमावहतु मे कमलालयायाः कालाम्बुदादिललितोरसिकैटभारेः धाराधरे स्फुरति या तडितङ्गनेव मातुः समस्तजगतां महनीयमूर्तिः भद्राणि मे दिशतु भार्गवनन्दनायाः प्राप्तं पदं प्रथमतः खलु यत्प्रभावात् माङ्गल्यभाजि मधुमाथिनि मन्मथेन मय्यापदे तदिह मन्दरमीक्षणार्थं मन्दालसं च मकरालय कन्यकायाः ईशन् निशीदतु मयि क्षणमीक्षणार्थम् इन्दीवरोदर सहोदरमिन्दिरायाः इष्टाविशिष्टमतयोऽपि यया दयाद्रदृष्ट्या त्रिविष्टपपदं सुलभं लभन्ते दृष्टिप्रकृष्टकमलोदरदीप्तिरिष्टां पुष्टिं कृशिष्ट मम पुष्करविष्कराराः दद्यादयानुभवनोद्रविणाम्बुधाराम् अस्मिन् अकिञ्चन विहङ्गसिशौ विषण्णे दुष्कर्मधर्ममपनीय चिराय दूरं नारायणं प्रणयिनी नयनाम्बुवाहः गीर्भेवतेति गरुडध्वज सुन्दरीति शाकम्भरीति शशिशेखरवल्लभेति सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयकेलिषु संस्थितायै तस्यै नमस्त्रिभुवनैकगुरोस्तरुण्यै श्रुत्यै नमोऽस्तु शुभकर्मफलप्रसूत्यै रत्यै नमोऽस्तु रमणीयगुणार्णवायै शक्त्यै नमोऽस्तु शतपत्रनिकेतनायै नमोऽस्तु नाडीकनिभाननायै नमोऽस्तु दुग्धोधरिजन्मभूम्यै नमोऽस्तु सोमामृतसोदरायै नमोऽस्तु नारायणवल्लभायै नमोऽस्तु भूमण्डलनायिकायै नमोऽस्तु देवादिदयापरायै नमोऽस्तु शार्दायुधवल्लभायै नमोऽस्तु विष्णोरुरसि स्थितायै नमोऽस्तु लक्ष्म्यै कमलालयायै नमोऽस्तु दामोदरवल्लभायै नमोऽस्तु कान्त्यै कमलेक्षणायै नमोऽस्तु भूत्यै भुवनः प्रसूत्यै नमोऽस्तु देवादिभिरर्चितायै नमोऽस्तु नन्दात्मजवल्लभायै सम्पत्कराणि सकलेन्द्रियनन्दनानि साम्राज्यदानि विभवानि सरोरुहाक्षि त्वद्वन्दनानि दुरिदाद्भरणोद्यतानि मामेव मातरनिशं कलयन्तु मान्ये यत्कटाक्षसमुपासनाविधिः सेवकस्य सकलार्थसम्पदः सन्तनोति वचनाङ्गमानसैः त्वां मुरारिहृदयेश्वरीं भजे सरसिजनिलये सरोजहस्ते धवळतमां शुकगन्धमाल्यशोभे भगवती हरिवल्लभे मनोज्ञे त्रिभुवनभूतिकरि प्रसीद मह्यं दिग्हस्तिभिः कनककुम्भमुखावसृष्ट स्वर्वाहिनी विमलचारुजलप्लुताङ्गीं प्रातर्नमामि जगतां जननीम् अशेष लोकाधिनाथगृहिणीम् अमृताब्धिपुत्रीं कमले कमलाक्ष्यवल्लभे त्वं करुणापूरतरङ्गितैरपाङ्गैः अवलोकय माम् अकिञ्चनानां प्रथमं पात्रम् अकृत्रिमं दयायाः स्तुवन्ति ये स्तुतिभिरमीभिरन्वहं त्रयीमयीं त्रिभुवनमातरं रमां गुणाधिका गुरुतर भाग्यभागिनः भवन्ति ते भुवि बुधभाविदाक्षयाः भाग्याद लक्ष्मीवरम्म नमम्मनि सौभाग्यद लक्ष्मीवरम्म कनकवृष्टिकरयुधबारे मनके मानव सिद्धिय तोरे दिनकर कोटि तेजति ಹೊಳೆಯುವ ಜನಕರಾಯರ ಕುಮಾರಿ ಬಾರೆ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಸಕ್ಕಿರೆ ತುಪ್ಪ ಕಾಲುವೆ ಅರಿಸಿ ಶುಕ್ರವಾರದ ಪೂಜೆಯ ವೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಅಕ್ಕರೆ ಉಳ್ಳ ಅಳಗಿರಿ ರಂಗನ ಚೊಕಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ರಾಣಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ. May Mahalakshmi bless this beautiful country with incessant dhanam, dhanyam, pashu, bahuputra labham, and especially to all the astikas with incessant prosperity, so that their prosperity can help them do dharmic charity. What we get should help in charity. So it should help us do charity. May people who are between jobs or who are suffering in the professional front, with the grace of Mahalakshmi and Kanakadhārā Stotram, may they be blessed with good jobs. Children who are hardworking and sincere in their efforts, may their efforts be fructified through good education, good admissions in universities. May the boys and girls for whom parents are seeking alliances get a great son-in-law like Narayana, and get a great daughter-in-law like Sri Mahalakshmi, and let them stay together like the Divya Dampati for years together. May that happiness come in the family. May this country be blessed with great leaders who always create more friendships everywhere. And may there be peace and harmony in the entire society, with the grace of Ubhaya Acharyas of Sri Sringeri. The first day lecture on Kanakadhārā Stotram, I was given the mic at 7:09 p.m. So I may have taken 15-20 minutes more than the designated time. I am aware that you will have to drive for very many miles. This should not be a deterrent for you not to come tomorrow. I will start at 7 p.m. and finish Mohamudgaram by 9, so that you can all reach home on time. Kavita Kika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. As you are all aware, there are 4 yatras, 2 of them are filled. Cambodia, January 5th to 9th, 5 days, 4 nights filled. January 21st to 28th, 2026, 8 days, 7 nights to Egypt is filled. The third yatra is going to come up, which is Kerala. 13 Divyadeshams and 10 Abhimana Sthalams in Kerala between February 1st and 7th in Bharatadesham. May month 2026 to the Hindu temples of Bali, Prambanan and Yogyakarta in Indonesia. So we arrange for the flight, stay and lectures of mine, and 6 cooks from India will be coming to do the food every day. So here is a number that you will have to take down. So many of you will be aware. Those of you who are not aware may take note of this number from our team who will be responsible. Her name is Lata. She sits in India. It's a 10-digit mobile number. I'll repeat thrice as quick as possible. 81378 98571. 81378 98571. 81378 98571. Prefix it with the India code +91. It's a 10-digit mobile number. The person in our team is called Lata. She's available between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. IST. Paadiratri phone panni inga Lord Dasan. So you can check with her about all the details. She will be able to give you. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. The books of Ramayanam in English, some of you may have bought. My book is available with the temple in the temple premises. Ramayanam in English, Telugu, Kannada, Hindi and Tamil. If you buy, I'll be more than happy to sign. They are available. Navaratri is coming up. So please think about gifting Ramayanam so that we all learn Ramayanam and திருப்பி விக்கிரகத்தையும் ரவிக்கையும் கொடுக்காதீங்க, புக்கை கொடுங்க.